wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. Change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. Never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. Your radiant truth, I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. Your radiance, your radiance. Come on, baby! Whoa! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Let's go! Sunday night! Radio, yeah, yeah! Oh! No, 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 no! Hey, 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 yeah! I can't pretend. No, 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 no. Oh, I hope this never ends. It's about you. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. Your radiant truth, I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. You're radiant. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Dude, how we doing? Fucking Sunday night. Anything like I need you, it's over. Do you need anything like I need? Let's go! Dude, what a day! I've got no place to be alone, my friend. He cut his wrist instead. There's your answer. You better save yourself, or Let's go. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? Let's go. Tell me where are mine most of the time. You like that infectious energy? Let's go. We're gonna go through the guitar solo. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? Dude, let's go. Oh shit, dude, there is some bullshit going on in the world. Dude, Antifa headquarter Finland. Let's go Finland, we love you. Let's get down with the motherfucking Finland. Here we go. Come on. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Wow! Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? Oh, there we go. There we go. We're going to bring it down. This is fun. You having fun? Dude, I'm having fun. Bro, I'm about to get jacked up on Rockstar at 11:30 p.m. because, of course, that's how you're supposed to do it. Dude, I didn't fucking sleep last night, man. I'll be honest. Dude, it's been taking me a long time to get the second video done, right? Because, I don't know, I've been spending a lot of time on Twitter and in the late nights. It's like after the stream, I'm like a little jacked up. And so it takes me a little while before I can start making the videos. And I usually burn some of that excess energy off by being on Twitter. And so, dude, we do have to go back, all right? Because first off, somebody kicked us off at the very beginning of the stream, okay? It was fucking 𝗙𝗪𝗏. Let's go with the 𝗙𝗪𝗏. Thank you, kids. Oh, let's go. Kicking us off. And then we have Bright Press here. Happy Sunday, you punks. Thanks for streaming, Tommy. You are welcome, sir. Sir or madam. I don't know which, or something in between. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, dude. The video about MAGA's women problem. Isn't that, it's a good one, isn't it? I like that one. Dude, I am so tired of these, like, dude, it's like, you know what I'm tired of, guys? I am tired of this gender enforcement. You know what I mean? It is like,
it is like this obsession that religious people have with sex organs and enforcement of how people use them in every possible way, right? It's like what sex organ who you're dating. Oh, you got to make sure they have the right sex organ. Or if your partner has the wrong sex organ, you're bad. You're a dirty sinner, right? And they want to, you know what I mean? And oh, you got pregnant? Dude, like the number of people under these abortion tweets, I've been like interacting with these abortion things. The number of people, guys, who come into an abortion discussion and they essentially say, hey man, if a woman has sex, you know, she needs to have the baby if she gets pregnant. And it's like, really? Like a woman can have sex with a guy one time, and if for whatever reason, you know, because, you know, they don't use birth control, or they do and he pokes a hole in it, or it just breaks, she's supposed to serve a life sentence of being a mother and marrying this fucking guy because she just wanted to have some fun sex. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of here. That is so ridiculous. Okay? You should be allowed to engage in pleasurable activities without serving a life sentence if you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, plain and simple. And now let me just tell you guys, they're like, some people raising kids can be a joy. Okay. But like, not everybody wants to have a kid. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I had a kid at 35, decided to have it. Was it life-changing? Yes. Was it awesome? Yes. But I was ready. I had been going to therapy. I'd already gotten a head start on getting sober. I had already, you know, for the most part, lived a good rock and roll lifestyle for, you know, 12, 15, 17 years. You know what I mean? It's like, if I had gotten someone pregnant at like 19, I don't think I would have loved raising that kid. And I don't think my kid would have had a very good time being raised under the fucking guy I was when I was 19. You know what I'm saying? Like, please, you know, like, allow people, you know, some leeway. Now, again, though, it's not even my choice, because the thing about this, guys, is this discussion about women and about abortion rights. The right to abortion is one thing and one thing only. Okay? If you look at a fetus and you think it's life with sanctity, like, then okay, don't hurt it. Okay? If you think a fetus has the same sanctity as an adult human, don't hurt a fetus if it's in your body. And that's okay. But the right to abortion is not about the fetus. It is about the mother. And it is about the fact that the mother has a uterus, okay? And that uterus, it is her choice whether that uterus incubates a fetus, okay? So abortion is not about killing babies. Abortion is about turning the incubator on or off, okay? If, oh, there's a fetus there, wants the incubator on, my uterus, nope, I'm turning the incubator off. Sorry, fetus, maybe next time, okay? It's real simple. That is the issue. A woman has a fetus, you can't compel her to use it. The same way, dude, I have sperm in my balls. No one can compel me to put that sperm somewhere and make a kid. Nobody can compel me. You cannot force my sperm out of my body and impregnate a woman and then take that baby to fruition, incubate it, and then tell me I have to raise the thing. You can't do that to me. And so you can't do it to them either, okay? The fact that it occurs in her body and then you think once it occurs, that means it can't stop. Because at the end of the day, guys, like, even if you believe in God, God believes in abortion because he does miscarriages, okay? I don't believe in God, but nature does abortions, okay? They happen all the time. Like 15, 20% of all pregnancies get aborted by nature. by the woman's body, by whatever. We don't know. If you believe in God, your God is aborting 15 to 20% of the kids. So take it up with your God, okay? Because it happens naturally. So fuck off, okay? Dude, it is so crazy, that issue. And the people, though, the animosity there, okay? It's the animosity in these, because I've been commenting under some of these things, and the animosity in there is like how there's like a resentment among these religious people that is about, if you've dared to have sex, you should suffer the consequences of having a baby. And that's so dumb. You know what I mean? Because the thing is sex isn't just about procreation. Okay, sure, there's a procreation function to sex, but sex is also entertainment. It's a sport. It's a fucking it's like going out and eating a fine dinner at a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? With consenting adults who are just like playing and nourishing on each other's bodies and doing like a soul to soul touching through the act, but like they don't attach some grander religious significance. It is like a type of like, I don't know, it's like a type of connection and interaction that you can do freely with strangers, and it can be like amazing when done that way. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean you have to procreate every time you do it, you know? Yeah. It is. It's an exchange of energy. Absolutely. But yeah, man. Dude, I love it. I mean, you could say I'm minorly obsessed with that whole sexual energy thing. I mean, dude, it's part of the reason why I went into music. Can I just tell you, right? Can I just tell you, like, that was part of the reason why I went into music was because of the sexual energy of it, because music is very sexual, right? When performers are on stage performing music, it is kind of like they're having sex with the whole room. You know what I mean? In the band, it's like they're having sex with each other. It is definitely connected. Like playing music and having sex are like very connected. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty wild. Dude, yeah, music is energy. It's true, man. It's true. That's why people that's why, seriously, guys, it's why you go to see concerts and you want to sleep with the people on stage. It's not because they're hot. It's not because they wrote songs. Anyone can write fucking songs. It's because of that sexual energy that's being transferred. Right? Don't tell the Christians that. Dude, the Christians, though, this is probably why their music sucks. Okay? You may have noticed when you look at like Christian music, their music is ass, because I don't think they put that sexual energy into it. Right? All their sexual energy goes into like the fucking, right? Their deviant sexual behavior that they hide at motels and shit. Dude, they suppress that shit until it blows up on the, like, you know, the poor transgender person that lives in their town, or whatever sex workers live in their small town. Dude, because they're so fucked up. You know, there's a lot of like sexual repression in religion. Or yeah, Grindr. They do work it out on Grindr, don't they? Dude, I don't get it, man. Masturbation is very natural. Dude, guys, literally, let me just tell you, okay? I don't want to give you TMI because I'm going to give you TMI. Like, fuck it. I've already opened the gate. But as far as like my creativity goes, I've been a creative person my whole life. Okay. From writing poetry to whatever, programming computer video games when I was younger, eventually doing music and all this shit. Okay. And then from music, I became a content creator. Now I'm making political content. But my creativity has always been attached to my sexuality, okay? Like my sex drive and my drive to create art are the same thing, okay? It's that creation, okay? And it doesn't just need to be about babies. And it is an amazing, powerful, hopeful, like energy, even if you don't have a kid. Like somebody could not have a kid and they could just make art their whole life and they would basically be raising a kid. Okay, raising my kid and writing record albums were no different. Raising my kid and building this YouTube channel is no different. Same energy. I mean, it's the relationship is different because he's a real human. I get to know him and he like expands my thoughts and my feelings and my focus, but so does my other creative stuff too. It's just he's a real human I get to interact with. But what I was going to say is for me, the self-handling of my sexual energy has been tied. Like I turned 56 this year, and I'm telling you guys, I have probably masturbated one or more times per day, almost every fucking day of my existence. Okay? I'm serious. It is like I would just do it. I would do creative work, and after several hours of creative work, I need the release. And then you go back and create. And that's like the two have been tied together my whole life. I love it. I love that energy. They're up here. Dude, let's go. And I mean, I feel like it keeps you peaceful and fucking, you know what I mean? Like I get agitated if I go too long, dude. I go more than a day and I'm like, dude, I get too agitated. And that was the TMI. All right, there you go. I mean, dude, but we're all adults here, so fuck it. Dude, I love that shit. Dude, I do. I love it. I love that shit. And I mean, I'll be honest though, because my partner is thankful because obviously my sexual energy and appetite is way greater than she could possibly fulfill. So she's like, go have at it, right? She's like, that's good, And in fact, though, she's like become more into herself too, I think, over the course of our relationship. I think it's really important for partners to have their own sexual relationship with their own body. It really is. Like, if you're going to love yourself, you do need to include that part because that energy is glorious. I think that energy is glorious, dude. So yeah, man, there you go. TMI, but fucking A, baby. Let's go, dude. And it's like, for me personally, it's the sleeping pill, boss, right? I run on like caffeine and high energy. And then when it's time to go to sleep, I know how to get to sleep, dude. No Xanax here. Dude, you're in rehearsal and performing. Let's go, Alf. No, if you're doing music, you're doing it all the time. Let's go. Dude, should we start a goal? Dude, let's start a goal. Now that we have all that information, you love the conversations we have here. I mean, Jolie, thank you. They are real ones, aren't they? All right, I'm starting a goal, guys. Our goal thing is still not working, but we're going to start it right now. Let me get this going. Excuse me. All right, there we go. Let's go. Dude, I'm including those two. Let's go. Let's go. Dude, a horse or a former president? Dude, I saw the thing. Did you guys see the thing? There's a thing on, like somebody posted it under one of my tweets where it was like an image and it said that moment when you realize Ghislaine had a horse named Bubba. Dude, that shit is so funny, bro. Oh, fuck. Dude, the horse named Bubba. Oh, Lord have mercy, boss. Dude, you know what's crazy is this, guys, is our world, like America right now, would be infinitely less fucked up if like 40% of the population weren't sexually dysfunctional. I mean, that's really what it is. Like most of the Republicans and like all of the evangelicals are sexually dysfunctional. Like they literally they need to go to therapy on how to like interact with their own sexuality without shame and fucking whatever judgment that goes on with them. They're so fucked up. they're so spun out by this shit. When at the end of the day, dude, it's literally just sex. And they get everything attached to it, right? Like to them, all nakedness is sex. And it's like, dude, no, it's not. I've gone into nudist environments, Brighton Bush, you know, the Oregon Country Fair. Dude, I've been in so many environments where I'm naked with other nudists that are all different ages. It's not sexual. Nakedness is not sexual at all, okay? And again, people can be incredibly clothed, and that can be super sexual. It's like sexuality and nakedness or clothing, it's not like one for one. Love your music and your show. Thank you, Beard. Let's go. But they get so spun, bro. They cause so much damage, dude. Like, so much damage is caused by the sexually repressed. Like, oh my God. Dude, they are, it's ridiculous, bro. You know what I'm saying? It is ridiculous. And I think a lot of the rest of the world looks at America and knows this. Like European people, you know what I'm saying? European people, you know, or even anybody who's, you know, involved in nudist, you know, culture at all, right? Like I've never been straight up nudist, but I was always tight with hippies. Okay. I have always been, I've never been a hippie myself, but I was a very big psychedelic journeyer when I was a younger man. In my 20s, I journeyed a lot. And so I used to spend a lot of time with deadheads. And I knew a bunch of girls that like traveled with the dead and or were in that culture. I really liked the hippie culture girls because they were not sexually oppressed. And they had a real openness where, you know, you could have share partners and you know, come and go. And it wasn't all this fucking bullshit attached to it. It was more like it was just a you know, you could share that with people and they didn't get all fucked up over it. And so I've had a deep connection to the hippie culture and they're so good at that, of being unconcerned about like nudity and you know, possessiveness over shit. It's really amazing. You know, it's good shit. It is good shit, right? You traveled with the dead? Oh, let's go. May have crossed paths back in the day. Oh, shit. Yeah, well, back in the day, though, I was living in Oregon. But yeah, we may have crossed paths. Like I saw the dead in California a bunch of times. I saw him at several shows at the Forum. I saw him at Cal State Dominguez Hills a couple times, right? I wasn't a huge Dead fan. I didn't like the Dead, but I liked the culture of the Dead. So I went for the girls and the journeys and I didn't love their music, but I mean, I didn't hate their music. It's good to experience, but it's not, I would never really put the Grateful Dead on if I wasn't at a show, right? But I did go to a lot of their shows, right? Dude, the parking lots were amazing, boss. They were. I mean, you know what it was, guys? You know what I really love is what I loved about it is it's an actual like dropout culture, okay? And I respect that, guys, because I was a DIY guy who booked my own tours and lived my own thing outside of the capitalist structure. And that's what the Deadheads do. There's a whole crew of people that used to follow that band around, and their job was selling shit at the Dead shows. Their job was providing value to concert goers. And so they were a culture of like, you know, crystals and shirts and party favors and food and beverages and fire spinning and whatever, you know, making their own music. But there was a whole tribe that it kind of reminds me of the Oregon Country Fair, right? Where there's a tribe of people that put on this event, you know, for the public, but it's really about their experience of it. And so their whole life was just, you know, living on the road, you know, is like a It's like a satellite economy, you know, and there's some of that in content creating, right? Like if you become a big content creator, eventually you have editors and right, you're just like one person, but you'll have editors and PR people and management, and you'll have this whole team of people who now all have careers based on your career that has this whatever fame or outreach trajectory. And the Dead were like that. Like the Dead played these shows, and there was a whole city of people that followed those shows around that made those experiences like, you know, more than just the Dead. It was like you had the Dead and then you had the culture. And it was really cool, man. It was really cool. It was pretty neat. I really like that. I'm into that sort of thing. I'm into subcultures. You know what I'm saying? I'm into subcultures. You never listen to their music? Their music is kind of country-ish, right? It's a little picking and grinning sort of. That's part of the reason I didn't love it. It's definitely a little country-ish, bluegrassy sort of. I mean, it gets out there at the shows, but their music I always thought was a little hokey, right? Right? You know, to listen to on record, you know, dude. I like with my psychedelic stuff, I always liked more aggressive music, right? You know what I mean? Like for me, when I used to do psychedelics, I like to listen to Van Halen and Jane's Addiction and, you know, Love and Rockets. And I like to, or The Cure, something like Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me with that Eastern influence. I like to listen to really deeply, heavily layered, kind of like mind-bending sort of stuff and not so happy. You know what I mean? I like stuff that was a little bit more aggressive. Tool, dude, I listened to a little bit of Tool on some journeys. Tool's interesting. It's dark, right? But yeah, no, Jane's Addiction was my favorite. Like Dave Navarro's guitar, like a lot of delay, a lot of psychedelic guitar tones and layering. I used to listen to Jane's Addiction, and like my Deadhead friends would hate it, bro. Like when we would like hang out together, they would be like, dude, you stay away from the fucking stereo. Because that shit, Deadheads do not like Jane's Addiction in that kind of zone, dude. They don't. I'm like, I wanted to turn the speed up and like no brakes, all out aggression, psychedelia. And they're just like, whoa, dude, we just want to like chill, right? You need to slow your roll. I remember once there were a handful of us at a friend of mine's house and I was going nuts to Jane's Addiction, just blasting. And we couldn't find my friend's brother. And eventually we found him out in the backyard, huddled down by the air conditioner, dude. He was like being assaulted by my music, dude. Oh, he was like, dude, we had to like, oh shit, I'm sorry, dude. Here. He's like, dude, you're killing me. Oh, it's funny. Dude, they don't like, the hippies don't like that shit, boss. They don't. Oh, Susie and the Banshees is good. But yeah, now though, I mean, you know, psychedelics are really risky, like in an uncontrolled environment. So, I mean, I heavily encourage people, though, to go to a state where it's legal and do facilitated journeys. I mean, she's a facilitator, right? She just finished her training. And so Jenny is a facilitator. And like, it's really good for you. I mean, you know, in the right environment, it can really heal depression and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in the wrong environment, it can also be wildly unpredictable, which, I mean, I experienced many times because I did it like unguided as a young person. And I had some really scary adventures that like, you know, that like ego destroying things that took me many, many months afterwards to recover from. So you really got to sort of respect the power of that shit. Like some people like it, you know, you got to respect the power of that shit. I think going facilitated and with a guide with like MDMA or the psilocybin stuff is a really good way to go. I think it's safer, you know, it's safer. But now I'm sober, right? Like coming up on 19 years, guys. You know. But yeah, dude, it will though. I'm telling you though, guys, it will change you. Because one thing I can say, guys, is this, is I always wanted to be an artist. I wanted to play music. I wanted to, from a little kid, I was not allowed to have instruments or anything, so I couldn't like pursue that shit. But I went to UCLA. I, became an econ business major like all my fraternity brothers. Then I took a year off of college, which is when I started my journey experimentation. When I went back to the fraternity, guys, it was not the same, okay? After my psychedelic experimentation began, my relationship with capitalism and the system, the patriarchal system we lived in, it ended. Like, I no longer wanted to be a part of the patriarchal capitalist system after I started like interacting with that kind of energy. I mean, it really opens the doors to where you can see the dirt, the grime of the system we have. Because the system we live in, guys, of hoarding wealth and capitalist grinding, ever grinding wealth, it destroys our souls, okay? Like all of the shit, all of the problems in this world, war, famine, poverty, like violence, all of that can be traced back to capitalism, okay? Capitalism and the aggressiveness, the brutality of the system and the way it isolates people and extracts their souls out of them in order to provide wealth and power to other individuals. It creates fucking, you know what I'm saying? It creates all the bad shit, and once I know, I am a commie. Once you get into though, if you do, meditation does the same thing, guys. If you get way deep into a meditation, like Vipassana or something, or Kundalini, if you go deep into meditation, you will have the same thing. Okay. It happens with yoga as well. Like if you do Bikram or really deep yoga for a long period of time, it rewires your brain in a way that you look at capitalism and you're like, oh yeah, this is dog shit. Right now we're watching 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗧. It's a really interesting play on that. Love you, but you're an ever-loving deadhead and you adore Jane's addiction. Let's go, Angie. We love to see it. Let's go. And you grew up in Woodstock. That's crazy. Yeah, let's go. Oh, shit. You wore a Grateful Dead tie-dye today? Let's go. Yeah, no, I know that what Sean is saying there is capitalism is inherently exploitative. It is. Because at the end of the day, here's what capitalism is. Okay? What people say capitalism is that capitalism is this free market system where anyone can become a successful millionaire. And there is some truth to that. Potentially, anyone in that system could become a potential multimillionaire. However, for every person that does become a multimillionaire, it means like tens of thousands of people have to be struggling. So you only get that trip to being a multimillionaire by making sure that a vast swath of your population is forever struggling. And you can't really control it, right? Like you can do everything right in capitalism and you still struggle your whole life. Because, you can't really control if you get out of that fucking glut. There are certain things, if you're a man, if you're a white man, if you're born into a wealthy family, if you get a really good education, right? You know what I'm saying? If you don't suffer any life-changing setback. There are a number of things that can happen to you that increase your chances of reaching that dream of collecting wealth. But the hard thing is is that if you become if you make $100 million, that just means you have held, 100,000, 500,000 people in poverty. It's like, oh, great, I'm a multimillionaire, but I'm only this way because a whole bunch of other people are barely have their heads above water. Like, you can't have one without the other. You can't have the wealthy without having 60% of everybody else be piss poor. That's the system. Capitalism is 60 is piss poor, so 30 are comfortable, 9 are living the high life, and 1 have more power and money than God. That's capitalism. But you have to have 60% that are piss fucking poor, and they're believing one day they're going to be up there, but no, they're not, Like, one may squeak through like a sperm, right? That's what it is, dude. One sperm may eke through, right? But it's just not a good system, It's not a good system. And I agree with what Jet Girl said. It's not sustainable, right? That's the problem, is it's not sustainable, because if you're going to have an exponential growth of wealth up at the top, that means you have to have exponential growth of poverty at the bottom. Okay. So the problem is by the time Elon's a trillionaire, our homelessness issue will be out of control, right? And then when there's 10 trillionaires, homelessness will be like 5 times as bad, because once you start making trillionaires, that means now we have to have a huge section of the population that are homeless or robots or in free labor camps, right? You just can't. You can't have trillionaires without having a bunch of people that are like not getting paid at all. That's, like there's only so much wealth in the system. And so if all the trillions and billions go up to 100 people, that means none of that wealth goes to those other billions of people. And so, the allocation is fucked up, right? It's taking 90% and giving it to 1%. And that is not sustainable. Okay. It's not, right? Dude, Elon could spend $66 million a day for 4,000 years and not run out. Yeah. Dude, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. You tax him out of existence. I mean, we used to. But all right, dude, it's a bad system. But I do feel like people are waking up to this, though, guys. They're waking up to it. I know young people are waking up to it. They are. I think they're starting to realize. They're starting to realize, boss. Right? You know what I'm saying? They are. I mean, technology is going to eventually, right? There still might need to be a little revolution, but people are waking up. I mean, you know what I mean? It's really weird. I don't like the fact that we are so down on socialism when literally every family practices socialism. Like, socialism is literally our dominant family culture. Okay? You have like people that like acquire the money and distribute it equally to all of their fucking constituents. They keep them fed and clothed and housed and provide medical care and access to education. And they take care of them for their entire fucking life. You know what I'm saying? To help them fucking achieve and get settled and chase their dreams and shit. Like, we literally, every family is socialist, just like every house has a gender neutral bathroom. And then we put socialism out in the world. People are like, oh, fuck, dude, socialism bad. And it's like, but you practice socialism at home. Gender neutral bathroom bad. Dude, you have a gender neutral bathroom at home, dumbass. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's just so dumb, dude. Dude, it's so dumb. Like, we're so dumb. McDonald's 40 hours a week in Europe. Yeah. Well, it's crazy gaming, right? Because in Europe, yeah, the restaurant workers, fast food workers make more in Europe and the food is cheaper, right? It's like, come on, bro. Your house is a dictatorship? Ah, dude, no way. No way, dude. My house was kind of like a commune, dude. My house was, and much to the chagrin of Jenny, my son had an outsized amount of power for a child. Okay, he was raised with the power to challenge the adults and win if he was right. You know what I'm saying? He was definitely given the power to speak his mind at any and all times. You know, he had an outsized amount of power for a young person, right? But I thought it was good. I think it's good. When I look at the type of human being he is and how capable he is, I think it's really good, right? He's a fucking, you know, he's a real problem solver when push comes to shove, right? Dude, sometimes you feel like the kids are running us. I mean, I'll be honest, guys. My experience of parenting, and this is the last thing I'm going to go into before we get into the politics of the day, but my experience of parenting, guys, was that to a degree, there are some aspects of raising kids that the kids should be running the show, because the kids have access to unconditional love in a far more untainted way. They have access to the focus of attention. They also are really scattered, but they have attachment and unconditional love and an innate sense of right and wrong that is very powerful. And if you allow yourself to let them guide you in how to be compassionate and how to show up and how to notice other people's feelings other than your own, they're unencumbered. Okay. Like by the time you're older, by the time you're 18 or 20, your mind, you get beat up, right? Like people try to beat your hope and your dreams and your love out of you. The system brutalizes us to where we become doubtful and suspicious and fucking, you know, we're sketched out by everybody. We don't trust anyone. We're only out for ourselves. And there is a purity and an empathy and a compassion and an openness, a joy that the children have that you can hold on to it too if you allow them to be the driver of that ship and you just attach yourself to them instead of trying to command them get into your box. If you let your kids run the innocence, the curiosity, the love, the empathy, the joy, if you let them run that show and you let them drive you, you can hold on to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think one of the real problems with miserable adults is that they lost their childhood. You know what I'm saying? They lost it. It like got beat out of them or something, and then they just gave up on it, you know? And it's there's a soul death that occurs when you give up on that, you know? You know what I mean? There's a kid can be so purely 100% in the present moment in ways that most adults cannot, you know? And so I really went out of my way to let my kid show me how to live that way, you know what I'm saying? And because I think that being able to maintain a sense of innocence and a sense of empathy and a sense of curious wonder and joy about your everyday tasks and responsibilities and new things you come across can really be powerful later on in life, especially if you're trying to live outside of the system of just going to work from 9 to 5, you know? But I think it's valuable even in a 9 to 5 environment to be able to keep from your life feeling like a slow death, you know? You know what I'm saying? Because kids are more aware. Kids are more aware than adults are. And this is what's so troublesome, right? Is so many adults live in total dysfunction. Okay? They're totally dysfunctional in their relationships, their drinking, their behavior, how they operate. They're so dysfunctional, and they think the kids don't see any of it, but the kids see it all, bro. The kids see it all. If you are a conniving, sneaking cheater, your kid sees it. They see it all. If you act like you're there for your kid and you're actually emotionally unavailable, the kid knows. Okay? The kid fucking knows, man. They see it all, dude. Nothing gets by them. If your relationship is having issues, they know. They may not know like an adult would know, but they know, man. They know the vibes. And then they start like fucking, developing unhealthy responses to shit based on your dysfunction. It's fucking crazy, dude. It's crazy. See, I don't know. I think it can be different. Your family class definitely has an influence on it, because I know some people, if you're in a certain upper class, you're not raised by the parents as much as you're raised by the nannies, and sometimes those kids, though, really have an advantage because their parents are these like authority figures that are showing them certain aspects, but they have these caregivers that tend to all the emotional stuff. So with really good caregivers, wealthy people can have a distinct advantage because they're getting nourished by the caregivers, and then they're getting a parental influence from the parents. And because the parents aren't also the caregiver, it gives the parents a little more leeway, right? It's hard when you're the emotional caregiver. There's an attachment there that can make learning from them more complicated. Like even with my son, we have a great relationship, but man, when I try to inspire him, a lot of times he just feels like I'm telling him he's not good enough. And that's from the caregiver relationship and the authority relationship. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. There's no handbook, but it's quite a journey. All right. That's our 40-minute intro though, dude, but I will say though, one thing I can honestly say, guys, for me personally, when you ask a lot of people I know come in here and are like, how do you have so much energy? How do you have so much energy? Where does that energy come from? My energy and my creativity and my passion for life is definitely attached to my inner child. Okay? Like my inner child occupies a very large portion of my existence, right? It does. Like my inner child, and I respect the hell out of my inner child. Like I've never fucking let go of that, that curiosity. It's mostly about curiosity, wonder, and what it is, guys. I hate to say this, but I've maintained a sense of naivete. Okay. Like for example, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say, but when you're a kid, you go in, they're like a dog, right? A dog, no matter how many times the dog gets hit, the dog still comes up trying to get the owner's affection. And kids are like that. All the pain and shit, they will still show up and try to, like, they have this naivete where they're going to give the parent one more chance to, like, be there for them. And a lot of parents abuse that shit. But, like, what I've found as an adult is I like to have that type of naivete in operation all the time. But I add wisdom to it so I can spot people totally trying to take advantage of me or shit. And I don't allow that kind of behavior, but I still go into things knowing that I can go in like with all my hopes and dreams. And if my heart breaks, it's going to heal. I know how to heal heartbreak. So I don't go in guarded and like, oh, this might not work out. I go all in. And then if my heart breaks, my heart breaks. And I fucking heal it and I go all in again. And that naivete, like I've held on to that. Like I will never, ever get jaded, ever. You know what I'm saying? You can break my heart 1,000,000 times in the same endeavor, and I am not going to jade. I think like allowing yourself to, when you start muting your hope and passion because you're afraid of getting hurt, is when you start really shutting yourself off, right? I go all in, man, and you know, all in. And if the heart breaks, the heart breaks. You okay? That's it. Right? You know? I mean, I'm not afraid of heartbreak, dude. It's a whole nother experience. You know what I mean? Heartbreak. I've actually had some of my biggest revelations and or personal changes as a result of fucking just incredible heartbreak. It's like an opportunity for, you know, evolution, right? It's, you know, somebody said that's brave. All right. I think it is kind of brave. Now, can we talk about not brave? Because here, right? Here is, dude, we got to talk about not brave, okay? Because the big news of the day, of course, is Trump, okay? Look at this. It says Trump reverses stance. Okay, first off, we got to talk about this. You know why, guys? All right, why is this important? All right, now, if you go to right-wing media, okay, if heartbreak can truly suck, no, but Gypsy, heartbreak absolutely sucks. Heartbreak is absolutely sucks. But I want to be clear about my take, though, on that shit, like heartbreak and pain and going through, like, tribulations and trials, is when you stop looking at it as bad, as like, ooh, this is a thing I need to avoid. It's painful. I don't want to go there. And you find a way to look at it as just another type of experience where you can go through miserable heartbreak and it doesn't feel good. It hurts. It feels like it's never going to end, but there's joy in there. And there's resolve, and there's renewed passion. There's opportunity for change. Right? So the idea is yes, it sucks. Much like coming down from a drug. Pick a drug that's great, and the come down fucking sucks, right? And so heartbreak is just the come down from loving with everything you got. But it heals, and there's other good shit in there too, right? That you can't get. Like if you never experience heartbreak, there's a whole bunch of shit you're not getting access to. A steely resolve, a, you know, phoenix-like ability to reinvent yourself, the ability to like analyze yourself in a really, you know, like objective and maybe harsh kind of way of, you know, picking yourself apart, but compassionately, but becoming aware of who you are and how you are. You know what I'm saying? There's so many like things that come out of heartbreak that you can't get any other way. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's really interesting. But yeah, dude, well, Trump is a sociopath, okay? That's the problem. But yeah, dude, it does suck. But I don't know. Sometimes those sucky feelings have a lot of value, right? I think, you know, and this is one of the things I've maintained about depression, okay? Because I know we have the shit in America, depression and medication, but like, guys, everything is just a sine wave, okay? All of human life and energy is just waves, okay? That's all we are. Our emotions, our lives, everything is a wave, okay? The sound, the light, everything we interact with, the gamma energy, all of the shit we interact with is just waves, all of the energy. So like, when you're down, you're just at the bottom of the sine wave. You don't necessarily get to control how long you're down there. But when you're down there, you can rest up, you can pull back, you can get introspective, you can deal with your hurt spots, right? You can explore the dark side, right? It's like when you're down, you can explore your Darth Vader part. And when you're up, you're like Luke Skywalker, you're going to save the world. And I think that there's value in both of those states, okay? Like for me, a lot of times, my depression is where I get my energy to kick ass, and I get my resolve, and I get my passion and some of my great new ideas. And then the top of the wave is where I just experience pleasure, right? Whether I'm like, you know, experiencing it myself or having good shit happen or whatever, right? And, but then some people have the clinical kind of depression where like they get it so hard and they can't get out of bed for, a month. Then like, okay, now you need to have some medication or something. I do know some people who like have depression so bad that they can't, when they hit the depression, they can't get out of it. Right. And I don't have that. I'm lucky. I'm just super manic with just a little bit of depression, but everybody's different. But if you struggle with a lot of depression, don't hear me talk about depression and think I'm telling you like, oh yeah, it's easy. Like you may have clinical depression. You may have really deep shit where you can't get out of bed for a month. And then you do need to look into other strategies like, psilocybin or EMDR, some meditation, fucking MDMA or whatever type of therapy or pills, whatever, there's nothing wrong with if something is so severe that it's life affecting that there's nothing wrong with taking care of that shit. I don't think, I think it's good to explore lots of different modalities, which means if you have a deep depression, try some yoga and some meditation and some, EMDR and alternative therapies if you can. And then and then, you can medicate and stuff too, or like, don't be afraid to try a variety of things, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with needing help. Because I do know some people that if they couldn't take medication, they would not be able to function. And so like, dude, it's really good to have medication. I mean, I tried the medication route, but it kind of killed my creative mania. And I wasn't having that. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I was like, all right, I need my mania. So I'm going to deal with my depression, right? Because when I took care of my depression, my mania was gone. And I was like, dude, I love my mania. So I fucking was like, all right, no more medication, bro. I'm just going to figure out how to manage my depression, dude. Right? Dude, my mania is awesome. It is, boss. Dude, I love my mania. I have a good mania. I've got really lucky in this go around on the planet, boss. It's like, I mean, sometimes my wheels spin. I can't get anything done, but that's a small price to pay for most of the time just being on a joyride. Dude, let's go. All right. So now we're done with our fucking, I mean, I like these deep talks, but dude, we got to talk about Trump here. Okay. Because the first thing I noticed about this Trump tweet, guys, and you may have noticed it too, but you may have noticed all of the right-wing people have been pumping this thing as though it's this big victory. Have you guys noticed that? Right? That's the number one thing that I've noticed here, guys, is I saw every right-wing person being like, look at Trump. Trump is now the Democrats are going to back out. Like Trump is now in support of releasing the files. Look at him. Look at him. But guys, it is not Trump. Okay. This is bullshit right here. Because you know why? I'll show you why. We're going to go look at the Schuster tweet. We've been talking about this for fucking 2 weeks. Okay. Right here. Schuster in his tweet said that, you see this? This was 10 days ago, guys, or 2 weeks ago, where Schuster said everyone in Congress knows the shit in the Epstein files is brutal on Trump. And so the minute Grijalva gets sworn in, 100+ Republicans are going to vote for this thing. So Trump knows, he is now aware of this. Okay. He is now aware that they are all going to vote for it because everybody knows it's toxic. Okay. So now that he knows they're coming out anyway, and all the Republicans are voting this way, he's trying to get out in front of it and be like, see, I supported the release of this thing. But again, guys, it's going to be a game. They're not going to release everything, guys. They're going to play a game with this shit. They're going to release bits and pieces. They're going to game this. Trump is going to game it. He's going to try and make it go away. Okay? He does not want this shit getting out. We know there is some deep, devastating stuff for Trump There's devastating stuff for Clinton, I'm sure. There's definitely devastating stuff for the guy formerly known as a prince, Mr. Andy from the UK. That guy is going to be like done for, bro. I mean, there's a lot. I think there's other people. You know, if you read Virginia Giuffre's book, there's like Ehud Barak from Israel. There is, you know, Bill Richardson, the governor of New Mexico. She didn't name a lot of these guys, but there are other billionaires. Like there's one story Virginia Giuffre tells that is about a billionaire with a pregnant wife that literally, if you look 2001, it could be Rupert Murdoch. Okay? Rupert Murdoch had a pregnant wife in 2001. So one of those guys, the billionaire that she was like, you know, lent out to could be Rupert Murdoch. I know some people are thinking it was Thomas Pritzker. I did a little bit of research the other night trying to cross-reference some of the details, like trying to find out what billionaires in America had pregnant wives in 2001. And Rupert Murdoch came up. And that was one that I was like, that would be really interesting. That would explain a lot, wouldn't it? With Fox News's like complete and total backing of Donald Trump from the very beginning. If Rupert Murdoch was in there, like, come on, man. You know, could it be that big? Yes. Yes, it could. We don't know. Okay. But now Trump is trying to get ahead of this thing. So let's read his nonsensical shit. And look at what he says here, dude. All right. Dude, here he is. He's, as I said, Friday night. You mean Friday night when you refused to answer questions when you told the reporter, quiet, you fucking prick. Dude, I am so tired of Donald Trump, bro. I am so tired of this guy, bro. Pine Box, please. Dude, I'm praying for the Pine Box. As I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. Yeah, right. And it's time to move on from this Democratic hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great successes of the Republican Party, dude. Dude, this guy is in such a fantasy land. They have had no successes, boss. His entire presidency has been a disaster, dude. Jesus. Including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. Oh, Trumpy, the Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Epstein. Dude, the way he quoted, you see that on Epstein? Dude, this guy are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, etc., and their relationship to Epstein. The House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is that the Republicans get back on point, which is the economy, affordability. Dude, he's trying to take Zoran Mamdani's word. Dude, I'm sorry. Dude, to the MAGA, fuck you guys. You're not getting affordability, okay? Every time you use affordability, your party fractures and dies a little bit more because we're onto you, okay? Affordability, where we are winning big. No, you're not. Dude, our victory on reducing inflation from the highest level in history, blah, 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 was already down to practically nothing. It's up. Bringing down prices for the American people hasn't happened. Delivering historic tax cuts only to the wealthy. Gaining trillions of dollars of investment into America, a record. None of this has happened. It's all talk. It's like the Foxconn plant. The rebuilding of our military, securing our border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, which is not really happening. Ending men and women's sports was never happening. Stopping transgender for everyone. Dude, what a fucking dink, bro. Dude, there's fucking Trump gender for everyone. And so much more. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive. See, that bothers me, guys. Okay? And if the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide election victory. But that bothers me, that statement right there. Nobody cared for Epstein when he was alive. Because, man, there's like 1,000 women who have been living in fucking pain with this. And like, there is so much, when you think about all the people those women have interacted with for 30 years, like, so much pain is out in the world from this guy. And these women the survivors who endured this shit have had to deal with this, and to say that nobody cared about him is really a fucking slap in the face, okay? It is a slap in the face, right? And saying, the Democrats, they would have released it. Dude, they prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell, okay? They did. They prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell. Then the whole thing she was appealing. That shit was going to sit on wraps until her appeals were exhausted. Okay, and then he talks about landslide election victory. Dude, 1.4% ain't a landslide. Sorry, fucknuts. Sorry, 𝗏𝗡𝗞. All right, some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. Let's start talking about the Republican Party's record-setting achievements that don't exist and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Make America great again. Dude, all right, so obviously, you can see by the length of this thing, right? He is flailing, bro. And yes, he could release this shit at any time, okay? You don't need a vote of Congress to release this, okay? You don't. He could literally, commanding the DOJ and all that, is not something that they normally do, okay? But he could absolutely fucking, he could absolutely tear into this. And this is not a distraction, boss. This is more important than fascism, boss, right? And you may not see that, but this literally is the fascism, okay? The fascism isn't Donald Trump like stepping on the Constitution, bro. The fascism is the elite class not having any consequences. So you deal with Epstein and fascism is done automatically. Okay? Epstein is the fascism, not Trump trying to play king. This is fascism. Okay? This is the very definition of it. That like these guys control the media, the justice system, the military, the whole thing, and they operate outside the bounds of our society. And we all just are subject to their punishment. Have I noticed Bongino has been MIA? I have. Dude, that's why. Let's go. That's why, to me, I think it's the other way. I think the fascism and the National Guard and the threats of the Insurrection Act have all been a fucking distraction from this. Okay? This literally, the more I look at this, I feel like Trump's entire presidential, ambitions are about this. Like, if there was no Epstein, Trump would have never even tried to be president, guys. That's literally what I'm saying. I'm saying the only reason he wanted to be president was to fucking make sure that all of this goes away and to protect the network of money launderers that were making him wealthy, him and a whole bunch of other crooked crooks wealthy. Like, dude, if we detonate this, I feel like everything else is just a house of cards at that point. That's what I think. I think the fascism is an attempt to fucking, right? It is the cover for this. I swear to you, dude, because if you look at our society, right? This isn't even just about Epstein and these girls that are SA'd, which it is, right? But our whole society is basically the wealthy graping the poor, okay? Rape culture and patriarchal culture of some all-powerful dude exploiting the rest of us is literally the entire bit of our society. Our whole patriarchal society is contained in this Epstein shit. Exploitation, overlords that get away with everything, that control us because they control our funding. Dude, I feel like the Epstein thing is our ticket to a brand new society. You know? I swear to you, I'm not wrong. That's why if you look at the shit that's bubbled up here with Me Too, right? Me Too came on the backs of this. And Harvey Weinstein and this culture shift of women not wanting to get married. Dude, this shit is tied to Christianity and the marriage culture, the patriarchy, all of it. Bro, we blow this shit up and we get to start a brand new fucking society where where women and everybody else aren't exploited, right, by the small handful of powerful people, you know? Dude, let's go. Dude, it's true, man. This is the big boss. This is like the number one fucking issue of, I feel like, of our time, bro. You know, the rest is just distraction from this, boss. You know? I mean, and as somebody who experienced sexual abuse, everything else around it is just covering up that trauma, you know? I mean, if you look at America, we could literally boil down American society to sexual abuse and racism, right? If you boiled American society down to sexual abuse and racism, that's literally, if you took on those two issues, that's our entire fucking, like, culture is racism and sexual abuse. That's our whole society, dude. Dude, let's go. Oh, shit. You were almost a victim of Harvey. Dude, Harvey had a lot of victims, man. And you know who called him out, though? Right there, dude. You can't see her. You can see her leg, but that whole poster, Courtney Love was the first person to call out Harvey Weinstein. I don't know if you knew that. You ready? You want to see Courtney Love call out Harvey Weinstein? Dude, she did it in like 2006. Okay? Look at this. She was the first one to call him out. You ready? Watch. Watch this. Let me show you the video. It's this right here. You ready? 2005. Okay? They had a Comedy Central roast, a red carpet in 2005. 14 years. She was the first person to voice this. But watch it. You ready? This is insane. It's why I love her, man.
Do you have any advice for a young girl moving to Hollywood?
I'll get live with us. Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party in the Four Seasons downtown.
You see that? There it was. She was asked on the red carpet, do you have any advice for somebody, an actress coming to Hollywood to fucking make it in Hollywood? And she says, I'll get libeled if I say it, but if Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party in the Four Seasons, don't go, right? And when she said that, every fucking major actress and actor in town knew exactly what she was fucking talking about, bro. I trust fully in you, the people. Let's go, Willem! Dude, isn't that nuts? 2005, dude. 2005. Dude, Courtney Love, man. I've always loved her, bro. I have always loved her. Isn't that nuts? She was the first one. She was the first whistleblower. And it didn't do anything. I mean, it caused a little bit of shockwaves. It probably started the shockwave that was eventually, like, rippled. You know what I'm saying? But, dude, Harvey Weinstein, though, with Miramax, he was one of the most powerful filmmakers. You guys don't even understand. Miramax, every big filmmaker, Paul Thomas Anderson, fucking, like Quentin Tarantino, every fucking auteur came through Miramax. He was the gatekeeper for all the fucking careers, dude. Dude, like, it's crazy. A lot of people. Now, it's hard, though, because, systemically, the system wasn't ready to take that fight yet. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, dude, Courtney Love, she never had a thing with Harvey Weinstein, I don't think. But she, was a sex worker, and she had a lot of abuse in her history. Like, Courtney came from that world. That's why she called it out. That's why she was such a whistleblower about it, because she grew up with that. She had that, in her past. But, dude, she's amazing, right? She is amazing, bro. Dude, she is. Dude, I love, like, Courtney Love has always been, Hole has always been one of my favorite bands. And, like, her, Like, she's always been an idol of mine because there are very few, like what I don't even understand. I don't know if you guys understand, but like from where she came up, okay, she used to live in Portland and Olympia. She was like one of the Riot Girls, and Hole was kind of like a noise band. But from her to go from the noise band of Hole to like writing, you know, hit fucking records after surviving Kurt's death, like, dude, she is one of the strongest fucking women alive, man. And like, dude, if you see her powerful, like, oh my God, I saw a Hole at UC Irvine or Irvine Meadows Amphitheater, dude. I'll never forget that concert, guys. They had these lights on her and this huge black wall next to the stage that threw a shadow of her up on the wall. So she was like 70 feet tall when she played. It was like, it was life-changing, dude. Dude, she has been, you know, Courtney Love has been one of the individuals that I have modeled myself after in more ways than one, as far as like integrity and you know, willingness to go right through the center of the pain and never stop like fucking fighting. You know what I'm saying? She is a fucking, just a fucking champ, dude. Dude, love her. Idol, bro. Dude, she's amazing. Dude, she, like, you know, she's amazing. Stop with the conspiracy theory. Yeah, the conspiracy, there's no conspiracy about Kurt, guys. Everybody knew Kurt was going to do it. They just didn't know when. All right? I mean, if you talk to, like, anybody in that scene that was close to him, they knew. They didn't know what to do. Kurt was spiraling, and he was out of control. He couldn't get off drugs. And nobody would stop the train because the record company will not stop the train when you're as big as Nirvana. You guys got to understand the music business. If anything killed Kurt, it was the record industry, okay? Because they don't let you off, guys, okay? When you're big like Kurt was, like the voice of a generation big, that record company is not letting you off the goddamn escalator, boss. Doesn't matter if it takes you right into hell, because if you die, they bank off you tenfold. They don't give a shit, okay? And I've seen it happen to more people than just Kurt. I've watched friends' bands just get destroyed by the fucking record industry. Dude, the record industry is like the evilest industry out there, guys. It is fucking brutal, dude. It is brutal. They are not going to let you off that fucking, once you get on that conveyor belt, dude, you're done, boss. You are. And it's fucking brutal. Dude, it's a dirty business, man. It's a dirty fucking business, bro. Dude, it's bad, bro. I mean, it's funny because I spend so much time trying to get a record deal. And I'm telling you guys, in the end, when I got some perspective on it, I was actually glad that I never got signed to Columbia, because there was a time when Columbia was going to sign my band in the late 90s. And when I saw what happened to all my friends who got signed, I'm like, fuck, bro. I dodged a bullet. I dodged a fucking bullet, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and yeah, I mean, Kurt was the thing about Kurt that would have had to happen is they would have had to unplug Nirvana, okay? And they couldn't unplug Nirvana. And the record label was not going to unplug Nirvana. And even then, that's not a guarantee he would have survived, right? But his chances would have at least increased. He would have probably had a 50-50 chance. Dude, Bryce, let's go. Dude, hey, there's the kid, dude. Bryce is in the house. Let's go. Hello, boss. What's up? How are you, dude? Dude, tomorrow they're moving all their shit. It's a big day, dude. I'm excited. I can't wait to, like, see your apartment with furniture and shit in it. I'm excited. Dude. And then maybe the Raiders win, dude. Dude, you realize? Got you. Might happen Tuesday. All right. But tomorrow, though, I don't know, Bryce, if you remember this, but tomorrow is Raiders Cowboys, right? And Bryce, well, whenever, dude, whenever works for you, I don't care. You know what I mean? But Raiders Cowboys. Yes, Thanksgiving in fucking Springfield, Missouri. Right? The Raiders got out to a 21-0 lead and then they lost, dude. Dude, and Bryce was a Cowboys fan at that time. Now I think he's kind of a fucking Raiders fan a little bit. Oh shit, boss. Tony Romo, dude, Tony Romo was a GOAT. But yeah, man, isn't that crazy? Courtney Love, dude. She blew the whistle. But yeah, so this, guys, right? This, guys, is some bullshit right here, okay? This is not Trump, okay? This is not fucking, like, if we look at fucking right-wing media, look at what these clowns have been doing, okay? All of these guys. Dude, like, Benny Johnson posted about this, of course. You got the Utah Jazz. All right. Dude, like, what did he do? Look at this. See, look at this, right? Look at the big thing, right? Oh, Trump calls on Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files. Dude, Trump didn't call on shit, bro. Trump already knows these things are getting voted. This shit is coming down the pipe. So now he's like, oh, yeah, I want you guys to do this. Dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. I just don't believe it, though. I don't believe he's going to let this shit just get out there, guys. We have nothing to hide, right? Look at that. Dude, come on, bro. If you had nothing to hide, why did we have to do a goddamn discharge petition? Why did Mike Johnson hold Grijalva under hostage for months? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. What are we talking about? Right? What are we talking about? Read the replies. And, dude, Jay Clayton, who went to work for Apollo Global, firm that shelled out millions to Epstein. So, oh shit. So the guy, the attorney working on this is somebody that fucking paid Epstein, right? If you really wanted to see, there's something about the Democrats, right? Oh, this guy, dude, this guy's former MAGA right here, Evan Kilgore. He says, wait, so they're not a hoax and they do exist? Dude, this guy is funny, dude. Do you know Evan Kilgore? All right, look at this guy. He's a total Jesus freak, and he was a total MAGA guy. But look at what he did, dude, where he came out. You ready? Look at this shit. Hold on. He goes, hold on, let's find him. MAGA's been real mad at this guy because of this tweet. Look at this tweet right here, dude. This was 2 days ago, right? He says, the government just fucked my family's livelihood. Literally destroyed it overnight with the hemp provision. I will not be voting in 2026 or 2028. The GOP sucks and will sell out to lobbies and big donors at the expense of the American people. Fuck the government. And so what's funny is people challenged him and said, but the Democrats will win. But like the Democrats are not mostly anti-hemp, bro. Like why? What is this hemp bullshit? Dude, it's such fucking clownery, boss. Okay? The hemp bullshit is fucking clownery, dude. Hold on one sec. Dude, it's just insane, right? What are they doing? Congress nuked the hemp industry in the spending bill. Now, guys, you got to remember, okay? You got to remember that this shit, this is going to be a big problem for them, okay? And you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a big problem because there are a lot of young people that voted Trump. There was a big young person swing, right? Benny and all these shitter fucking, all these shitter fucking right-wingers, they all thought like, ooh, the young people are now, they're all MAGA. But dude, they're not going to be MAGA after Epstein and hemp and giving money to Argentina and shit. Dude, they ain't going to be MAGA for long, boss. It was real cute in 2024 when they thought Trump and all these guys were going to do the shit they said. But now they're realizing that Trump is just a lying piece of shit. I don't know how they didn't realize it before. Motherfucker lied about the election for 5 years, bro. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, but I don't think they're not going to be very forgiving from here on out. Right? But most of these are trying to play up Trump, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? If Trump was on the list, it would have been released years ago. That shit is bullshit, though, dude. Worried with how popular Nick Fuentes has been getting? You think the Groypers will take over? What do I think? Yeah, so, I mean, Nanyur, let's go, dude. Thank you, boss. Appreciate you. Let's fucking hit that goal. All right, dude, we got to hit the goal. All right, we got to get to work here, dude. We got like fucking 8 minutes left on the goal. We're going to have to grind this goal real quick before we finish up with the politics. But so my thing is this, is here's the way I look at Nick Fuentes. And I don't know if I'm going to be right here, but I'll explain my reasoning. So I am not worried about Nick Fuentes like taking over the Republican Party the same way that I wasn't super worried about Donald Trump taking over the Republican Party. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wish we were smarter than what we're going through now and the pains we're going through. But like Trump had a net destructive force on the Republican Party. And if Nick Fuentes becomes some guy that becomes a figure, it's going to be even worse than Trump, which is going to like perhaps fracture it completely, like for good. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think the thing about Trump is Trump's an extremist, but he was just enough of a bullshit artist with this fancy TV personality from The Apprentice that much like Ronald Reagan, he was able to sell extremism as I'm just an affable, lovable guy. And I'm not really an extremist. Those people are out there. But like Nick Fuentes is an extremist. And so if he rises to power, everybody in the middle that doesn't really like extremism, they can see Nick Fuentes' extremism, and he doesn't have that like Hollywood built personality. Like, dude, if there was no show The Apprentice, there would be no Trump. Okay? Trump, it's like, really, you want to blame anyone, blame Mark Burnett and the producers of The Apprentice. They created this monster. Dude, they did, boss. That, I'm telling you. I think if anything, the rise of a Nick Fuentes will be an accelerant for the Republican Party demise. So I actually cheer him. I think, to be honest, the guy who really would have been the danger would have been Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what's crazy, is whoever killed Charlie Kirk, whether it was Tyler Robinson or a conspiracy with TPUSA, they changed the future of right-wing politics in America like forever, boss. Because Charlie Kirk had that Trump quality where he was a Machiavellian opportunist, but he also was affable enough. And the young people, he was like a rock star to a lot of these young people. Like, he could have been truly fucking dangerous because he's basically as extreme as Nick Fuentes, but you don't know it. He hides it so well. You know what I'm saying? And he was deeply ensconced in the hardcore, like, moneyed Republican billionaire world because of his father. So that guy, like, you know, him no longer being in the equation is like, the Republicans are kind of cooked now. Like, now I want Nick Fuentes to rise. Let him rise, dude. Let him burn it all down, boss. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not going to win over, right? The Groypers are never going to win over the lefty righty independents in the middle America. Who was his father? His father was just wasn't a known guy, right? His father wasn't like a known politician, but he was a very wealthy man who donated a lot to Republicans. And so like Bill Montgomery, the guy who started TPUSA, right? That it was one of, you know, Charlie Kirk's dad's friend, and Foster Freeze, the other guy that was involved. Like, his dad knew all those people. Like, Charlie wasn't just a college dropout who hustled. Charlie was a college dropout whose dad was a massive donor to the Republican Party, and his father hooked him up with these really deep-pocketed, big Republican overlords. Yeah, he's not grassroots at all. He's a Nepo, right, of just another kind, dude. And much like Trump, he didn't graduate. Trump graduated, but barely, right? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's why he grew like that, was because of those family connections. Yeah, no, he's a Nepo. He's a Nepo kid. It's just his dad was like quietly, moneyed, right? But yeah, so I do worry about, let me sort of retract a little in my statement though, because I do worry about Fuentes in the fact that I worry what's going to happen to young people who buy into his shit, and particularly the world that young women are going to grow up in when guys, much like Andrew Tate, like he's one of those figures that's going to make a hostile environment for women in the LGBTQ. And so young people are going to go through some shit as a result of him. But I think it will be an accelerant to get rid of those fuckers. Like sometimes, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you have to hit rock bottom. And Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson and even Donald Trump, like they're taking us to rock bottom, guys. Okay, they are. We're going to rock bottom. And then we're going to rebuild with a better society. Woke 2.0, guys. Dude, woke 2.0 is coming. And man, they thought woke 1 was bad. Wait till they get a load of woke 2.0. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, dude, you got to go through the shit though. I've always chalked up Trump and these guys to being the end of, or maybe not the end, but they're like a bookend on a chapter of the civil rights movement, right? People thought the 60s and the VRA and the Civil Rights Act and all that, and the fucking, the fighting back against Kent State and Vietnam, people thought that was the civil rights movement. But guys, Brown versus Board of Education and what happened in the 60s, that was just kicking in the first door. And it was a black president that set off a whole nother explosion of American racism. We're like, wait until a black woman becomes president of the U.S. You know what they say, when the black woman is free, we are all free, okay? Dude, woke 2.0, let's go, Joey! Let's go! We got a ways to go. I think we need a generational die-off, though. I think the world will be significantly improved when everybody who was okay with segregation is dead. And I don't want to sound harsh, but like, if you look at something like, for example, let me just give you an example of Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And I'm not placing value judgments on these guys, but like Bernie Sanders, when he was a young person in the 60s, he was like, segregation is bad. This is bullshit. I'm going to fight. I'm going to speak up about this. And Joe Biden was like, he didn't speak up. He got into government and he was like, I'm going to make bipartisan deals with these nasty racists, right? And so there are people who allowed segregation to exist and didn't open their mouth. And there are people who opened their mouth and tried to make it end. And so when all of the people who kept their mouth shut during segregation are no longer on the soil here in America, we're going to have a fresh canvas. Like, we're still tainted. Like, Donald Trump was somebody who didn't speak up about, segregation. Most of the U.S. Senate, all of these guys that are 70 years old, 80 years old, none of them spoke up about segregation, okay? So they were inherently like, racism is bad, but it's not bad enough that I'm actually going to fight it, okay? And that part of our culture needs to sort of die off. And I think the Trump sort of thing in the U.S. Senate, average age being 67, we're living through that now. The next 40 years are going to purge us of like a lot of nastiness, Dude, Willem, let's go. So the count right now is 7, boss. All right, we got to hit this up, guys. Let's get this dance party going. All right, we're going to go 10 more minutes to see if we can get this dance party. See if we can get 13 and 10. All right, we're going to put a pause button on the politics. And then we're going to we got some other shit to cover. Dude, I want to watch the video with that teen girl who absolutely shits on fucking, on Megyn Kelly. Oh my God, that woman was, that young girl is amazing. I accidentally called her a woman. Dude, right? We got to watch the survivors video, that PSA. That is crazy. Dude, you know what I'm saying? But now we got it. We got to get the dance party. Drew Ladd coming in hot. Let's go. There it is. Oh, all right. 8 in 9, baby. 8 in 9. 8 in 9. We got this. We're going to 111. 9 minutes. 8 more. 12 in 9. That was 8. 11 in 9. Sorry. Keep up the good words, boss. Thank you, Nanyur. Appreciate you, dude. All right. 11 in 9. 11 in 9. There it is. We're getting there. Dance party. Secure the dance. Secure the dance. Dude. So the Trump thing is like, I mean, he's scrambling. I don't know what the ride is going to be like. Dude, Justin, let's go, baby. Dance figures. Oh, dude, I just, here's what I know, though. I know that this is not going to end simply because Trump is getting ahead of this thing and saying, I don't care. I want to release it. Everybody release it. Dude, he's not going to do that. He could have already released it. They don't even need this vote. Punk, let's go, baby. Dude, let's go, dude. Dance party, Jolie. Let's go. We're on 12, dude. 8 in 8. We got this. Oh, dude. So, I mean, Trump could release this shit right fucking now, dude. We don't need to vote on the discharge petition. It doesn't need to go to the Senate. None of this needs to happen. Okay, let's dance on the grab. Oh, I know what you're saying there. Yes, Shark. Let's dance on the pine box, right? Of the GOP, baby. 13. Dude, let's go. Metaphorically, of course. Dude, we want no political violence. But yeah, man, dude, stop the stupidity. Let's go. Later, Trumpy. Oh, you're so mean to me. But yeah, dude, Trump, they're not going to let this out. Okay? I mean, I want to see the pictures. Dude, I want to see the Michael Wolff pictures. I want the videos with whatever, with, some blurring over them. I want these guys to go down again, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like this stuff, I've said this before. I've been saying this probably for like 10 years, but I have thought that outside of like systemic racism, which is a huge social thing, to me, the number one problem that America has that infects our society and causes pain and drug addiction and all kinds of criminal behavior is sexual abuse. Okay? Sexual abuse in America, in families, among uncles, among teachers, police officers, pastors, is rampant. It is so much gnarlier and worse than anybody has ever allowed themselves to believe. For the dance party, let's go. That it is like an epidemic. Dude, Gosri, let's go. Thank you. Dude, let's go. Oh. And I maintain this, guys, that this has been an epidemic for as long as we can remember. And you ready for this? Remember the Nixon thing? A lot of support till the end. Yes, good vibe. When it rains, it pours. But one thing I do want to say, praise the sun. Let's go. We love the sun, boss. I grew up in LA. Big sun lover. All right, we need 3 more, guys. We got this. But so what I was going to say is sexual abuse, specifically with grape culture, but also child sexual abuse, is epidemic. And it's so much worse in the rural areas. Okay, when you go to these rural small towns, it is like, dude, I think like 40 to 50% of kids in some of these small towns are getting sexually abused, guys. I know it sounds like a crazy number, but this shit is fucking rampant. You know, you know what I mean? It is just so common, dude. It is so common, but our culture is so fucked up that we never talk about it. Dude, the super chat was a Dark Souls reference. Let's go. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what Dark Souls is. Is that a game? But yeah, man, my God, when in the small towns I lived in Wisconsin, even in my family, like in my house and in my cousins' houses and shit, and my aunts and uncles' houses, it was like everybody was getting sexually abused, man. It was just fucking crazy. And I mean, it is rampant in churches. Dude, the churches are like really problematic. And it's exacerbated by, of course, people who've been abused, becoming abusers. And it's usually if they're drinkers, right? Alcohol has a lot to do with it. That removes the inhibitions and people make really bad choices when they're drunk. I'm not excusing the choices, but I'm saying alcohol contributes to this behavior, both in enabling the acting out and then being part of the shame cycle that keeps that cycle of abuse going. Almost there. Let's go. Jolie, you've been coming in hot all night. Thank you, Jolie. All right, we are at 18. We need 2 more, baby. 2 more. Dude, it is brutal. That's why I think Epstein is like the #1 issue of our society right now. And maybe tied with systemic racism, right? It's just Epstein's easier to directly assault right now. You know, we have a direct path. All right, 2 more, guys. We got 3 minutes. 2 and 3. Then we lock down this dance party, and then we finish covering a couple of these items. And then we dance, baby. But yeah, man, I think SA is one of the #1 epidemic problems that we have, right? SA. And I kind of dovetail along with the SA. I attach to it, even not the SA, but like the hitting of kids, okay? Physical harm that is causing emotionally dysregulated children, sexual abuse of children and adults. And like that right there is like the biggest epidemic of harm that infects our young people and causes people to not be able to function well in society. If you know, leads to like over medication, drug addiction, alcohol abuse. For some fun, let's go, stupidity. Let's go, baby. Uno más. And then #2 is our fucking systemic racism. That's how I've looked at the 2 primary issues of America, because, you know, the problem is like our kids aren't getting a chance because they're growing up traumatized and harmed, you know, and you know, and I mean, the churches are definitely involved in both of those things. Party down. Let's go. There it is. We hit the big 20, guys. All right. We nailed it. Oh, shit, boss. Oh, shit. We did it. We did it, guys. Yeah. Dude, it's not. I mean, the church contributes to this shit of it being not safe for women and children. You know, it is not safe. I mean, dude, we looked at that fucking, that poll yesterday, or I put it in the video, right? There was a poll where they polled women between, did you see this? Look at this. This is astonishing, right? Because of Trump and the abortion laws and Trump being a grapist. Okay, obviously that's a huge part of this. But look at this poll. Dude, let's go. Stop the stupidity. And because you rock, let's go. Oh, dude, thank you, boss. Let's go, baby. Appreciate you. Let's fucking go. You rock too. But look at this poll. This was a Gallup poll, okay? This was, I cribbed this from Fox News. Karen, Tommy the teacher. Let's go. Look at that total, though. Women, 15 to 44. 40% of the women polled said they want to leave America permanently. 40 fucking percent, guys. And I mean, it's easy to see why. Rolling back their civil rights, the fight of bodily autonomy, right? They don't get paid as well. The fucking, the president, half of his cabinet are grapists, right? The shit with Jeffrey Epstein getting covered up, constant, the endless line of sexual abuse, abusive husbands. It's hard for them to get out of marriages. In some places, they don't have access to health care. They get shit for being educated. They go and succeed and become like the boss. And then everyone's like, women are terrible. You need to go back to just spreading your legs and cranking out babies. Like, dude, I totally relate to this. You know what I'm saying? But look at the number of men 15 to 44. 19% of men. Dude, so 20% of men want to leave America, bro. That's fucking wild, dude. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I know because of the Talibangelists. Yeah, I mean, nobody wants a Christian Taliban. Dude, I'd go to Germany. I have my eyes on the place where Ghislaine Maxwell's father died. That's where I have my eyes on. Guys, if I leave the US, I will be going to the Canary Islands, right? Because it's warm and they have really good internet, and it's a territory of Spain. They're fucking totally like cool about like staying out of other people's business and shit, and it's nice, right? It's right off the coast of Africa there. But Canary, I mean, for me, also I think Amsterdam, dude. Stupidity with the 5 gifteds. Let's go. Dude, welcome to the new memberships. Dude, Shaves and Gain Shark and Clark and family. Let's go. Good to see some names. Dude, Dab got one. Stella B. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, Stupidity. We appreciate you, boss. Right? Dude, let's go. Dude, I do like I like Amsterdam too. I don't know, after living in Portland, I don't know if I like that weather. Right? I want some sunshine, boss. But this is crazy, dude. And dude, evangelicals are not happy, guys, because let me just tell you, if 40% of women want to permanently leave the US, you know that world of having a bunch of women who become trad wives ain't happening, guys. That's the thing. Okay, is these evangelicals, like they want women to go back in the genie bottle. Okay, that's what they want, right? They want to go back to before abortion existed, before divorce laws existed, so they could take a woman out once, get her drunk, get her pregnant, and have a free servant and child raiser and sexual concubine for life. Okay, all they had to do was go out and get one sperm across the gate, and they get that woman for life. Even if she's the hottest woman in school and they're the biggest shithead who asked her out and she said yes because she wanted to be nice, then he gets her drunk and he goes and tries to like attach himself to her for life. And guys, this is literally what they did. Okay, that's what happened in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, right? The biggest loser tried to get one date with the hottest girl, get her drunk, get her pregnant, and then she belonged to him because society forced her into marriage and having the kids. Dude, that's what they want back. And dude, that world is so gross. That's why the minute abortion became legal, women started becoming the boss, guys, because they had a fucking defense against that entrapment. You're back again? Let's go. Dude. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And but dude, I can't say I blame him. I can't say I blame him, guys. All right, you ready to watch the survivors thing? I mean, this is why I talk about Epstein, okay? Because the all of this is connected. Okay? The essay, the patriarchal like domination of woman, be a trad wife, child bearer, take care of the family, take care of my kids. And right, all of that is tied into Epstein. I mean, it's just a different type of exploitation. Okay. And we don't need to have society based on exploitation anymore. Okay? We don't. You know what I'm saying? And so we're going to look at the Epstein video. All right? Let's look at this. This shit is crazy, boss. Yeah. All right? I have not watched it. Okay? So this is my first time. But they created a... Look at this. And we got to look at this too. The 2010 Epstein dinner with Katie Couric and Andrew, right? With the documents. But let's watch this, okay? These are some of the survivors, right? And they made this, and this is obviously the pictures from when they were younger. I have not watched it yet, but we're going to go in deep, okay? It's pretty powerful. I'm sure it is. I mean, again, guys, this stuff hits home for me. You know, right? This stuff just hits home and always will, obviously, because of what I've been through, right? But you know, this is indeed one of the biggest, this is one of the biggest issues of our time. Okay? It is up there, you know, at like a dam breaking for a better society. All right, you ready? Let's get in. I'm not gonna stop it, okay? I'm going to resist the urge to stop it. I have a stopping it in the middle problem. You all know I do. But this one I'm going to let go. It's only 1 minute and 11 seconds. All right, here we go. Let's watch.
I suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
I suffered so much pain. I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
There are about 1,000 of us.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness.
Dude, that fucking, that music was making me wildly uncomfortable. Can I just say that, you know, it was hard. I don't know about you guys, but like for me, it was hard to even focus on them because that music was making me so fucking uncomfortable. I felt like it was hitting like a frequency that was making me want to like scramble and get the hell out of this room, you know? You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I'd like to go through and just honor some of these moments, okay? Because we've had a lot go on in the last couple of days, okay, about this. With looking at the angle of this shit, looking at like Donald Trump calling it a hoax, right? And he's called it a hoax today in his little acceptance of like, release this shit, it's a hoax. You know what I'm saying? And the, you know, what a dismissal that is of what they've been through. And again, to go beyond how this is bigger than Epstein, how this is still currently happening. Epstein is dead, but look what happened with Matt Gaetz, right? And that 17-year-old girl with Matt Gaetz who was trying to get money for braces. Like, this is fucking, you know, rampant. It's going on right now. Right now, there are thousands of girls being trafficked in America right fucking now. It's still going on, okay? And these women have been trying to bring light to this and get some consequences for 30 years. The first call was Maria Farmer made to the FBI about Epstein and Trump in 1996, guys. So like, him calling it a hoax is really fucking bothers me. You know what I mean? It's like, ugh, you know, taking a swing kind of bothering, you know? And nobody even stops and thinks about the victims in the trafficking shit at all, right? You know what I mean? And I mean, look at what happens with some of these guys. Like, look at Andrew Tate. Okay, Andrew Tate is an example of a guy who we know he's trafficked. We know he's raped. He's fled the UK because of it. It's finally catching up to him a little bit. But that guy has like Bugattis. And all these young boys idolize him when he's like a rapist and a trafficker, and they'll protect him. Oh, prove it. You don't have any proof, you know? And you know, so the hoax designation and Trump's admin flying Tate to America and taking him to the UFC fight. It's like they shove our fucking noses in it. You know what I'm saying? These guys that traffic and SA and rape women, and they're all moneyed and powerful, and they're like, oh, you don't like it? Here, let me just rub your fucking nose in the abuse I'm perpetrating, and now get away from me, right? And then I'm gonna fucking cut my taxes, so I'm gonna take all your resources too. Dude, it fucking bothers me, right? It is, yeah, dude, it's an insult to humanity to do that shit. So that really bothers me, okay? And I mean, if you look at them too, right? Because, you know, Megyn Kelly was out there talking about, oh, he just likes the barely legal types. You know what I'm saying? But like, dude, these are girls, boss. You know what I'm saying? Like chalking it up to, oh, Epstein wasn't a pedophile. Oh, she was 17 and 10 months is what 𝗙𝗪𝗛 said. But like, dude, these girls were like so young, man. You know what I'm saying? When you look at them, like, look at how fucking young they were. Look at her, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, that's like, Megyn Kelly, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like America, Republicans, what are you guys doing? Donald Trump, what are you fucking doing, bro? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. They're so young. Shit is fucking brutal, dude. You know? This is like it leaves victims for life, man. These women are so bold. You know what I'm saying? They're so bold, dude. Yeah, that was intense, boss. That was like really intense. And when you read these books, I don't know if you've like, so this book is Julie K. Brown's, which is good to like find out how the story unraveled. But if you read like Sarah Ransom's book or Virginia Giuffre's book, and you get an eye into the insight, and then what I encourage, guys, is if you have access to this, don't like force it. But a lot of guys out there, you may know women who have dealt with SAs, and you know, I've known many. Okay, and so if you can provide a space, if they're able to talk about it, if you can provide a space for them to be able to like understand what they go through, right? If you haven't been abused yourself, it's like, it's a lot, boss. It is like a really hard, it is one of those deeply traumatizing things where you remember how earlier we talked about this innocence? You know what I'm saying? There's this innocence that kids have and all that. And I was like, oh, you hold on to that innocence. When there's a sexual abuse that happens, there's like a piece of innocence that like goes away that you don't ever get back, right? And that is really flummoxing. And then because society never punishes these guys and society doesn't even allow women a safe place to come out and acknowledge the crime, they're loaded with shame. Okay. They're loaded. They literally believe it is their fault. Like they should have done something different. And they usually suffer it alone because they can't really fucking talk about it. And so like, again, when we talk about Jeffrey Epstein, like, which enrages me with Trump politicizing this thing, or these guys like Mike Johnson not swearing in 𝗪𝗪𝗪, like the amount of pain that Jeffrey Epstein put in the world is incalculable. It is like a spiritual genocide, you know? I mean, it is just a different, I mean, I know we're starting to be aware of like life-ending genocides, but this shit is like a spiritual genocide. Rape culture and human trafficking is a spiritual genocide. You know, much like slavery was a spiritual genocide. You know, they're like genocides of the soul, genocides of people's humanity, you know? But yeah, man, that was fucking intense. And I saw somebody say that like they definitely did that music to like put you on edge. You know what I'm saying? But that is some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Dude, that is fucking wild, man. You know, I mean, it's obviously, guys, this shit is hard for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is hard for me because I have a personal attach, having been sexually abused. And part of it is it feels personal to me because I am like, you know, I'm 56, okay? And I think I can count, I know a lot of women, guys, okay? I played rock and roll for a long time. I feel like I could count on one hand the number of women I've met in my entire life who have not experienced like sexual abuse, you know what I'm saying? Or been raped or significantly sexually assaulted in a non-rape, you know, but still equally physical and traumatizing way. Like literally hardly any of them, you know, it's like 99% of the women I've known my whole life have had this be part of their life. It's so rampant. You know, the numbers are, it's unfathomable how much it happens. You know what I'm saying? Did I see a male victim came forward about, I have not, I've not seen that Abercrombie thing, and we can look into that some other time, but yeah, that is fucking, you know, I mean, there are absolutely many male victims. I'm a male victim myself, you know, and there's like, you know, there's the thing that's complicated about it is this, is like the male part of the equation is complicated by homophobia and a societal thing to suppress it, right? But it's also, though, there's something about it where the male version is horrific and has its own thing, but it's not tied into the fabric of society, right? Which is like, I feel like, and you ready? Listen to me. Don't take this wrong when I say this, but I feel like we have to address the female aspect first before we can even get to the male aspect, okay? And the reason being is because the female aspect is literally tied into the fabric of our society. The patriarchal, like all-powerful head of the household, the woman who didn't have voting power, who bared the kids, and once he got her pregnant, she belonged to him. It is in the religion. It is in the power structure of our entire society. So we have to address the female side. And then once we do that, we'll address the male side, you know, and it's weird because with racism, I feel like it's been the reverse, where the males bore the brunt of the enslavement, and in a way that's tied into our society, and then they got funneled into prison, but the male black man became the president, and it's like when the black women are free, the men will truly be free, right? And here, you know, maybe it's like when the women are free, the men will be free as well, because they get like intertwined into the DNA of our society. And it's like, dude, it's fucking wild, man. You know, which is why I know there's a bunch of male victims. I'm one of them, but I also know that like it's the females getting a voice in this are the thing that will heal the males, right? And you know what I mean? Like if we were to just address male sexual abuse, we could do that, and while plunging the women into even more sexual abuse. Like we can't solve the male. You got to solve the female, and that solves the male. That's my take on it, which is why I mostly ignore the male, even though I'm one of them, right? Because I think the fix is in that social structure, right? I don't know if that makes sense to you. But it's like a fabric of society thing, which is, you know, at least in America, is tied to religion. You know what I mean? You feel ashamed as a man? Yeah. I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard, dude. It's hard. The women raise the men who then oppress the women. Yeah, that's crazy. Dude, it is like, dude, our society, we got a lot of work, guys. We really do. You know what I mean? We really do have a lot of work, but I'm excited, guys. I know I am excited. You know, I am. I mean, I know it sucks. I know we're grappling with fascism and Trumpism and Epstein and Groypers and all this bullshit, political killings. But like, dude, I'm excited. Okay. I am excited because we're tunneling through some shit that is going to make the 60s revolution look like small potatoes, guys. Okay? We are alive. Like my son, I know he's born right now. I didn't even know if he's still like listening or whatever, right? He's 20 years old and he's going to go out there. But like our kids right now are on the cusp of a like societal and humanity revolution that's going to make the 50s and 60s look like a drop in the fucking bucket, man. You know what I mean? We're bearing witness to the start of this. And you know, powerful women. You know, think about this. Think about what we just watched, okay? This is the president. You know what I'm saying? The last time we had something this big, it was Woodward and Bernstein, two very powerful male reporters at the Washington Post, a powerful institution. But we have fucking girls that were 14 years old that are now 44 that have been taking on the fucking government for 30 years, guys. Like, you know, that's some big shit, bro. That's some big shit. That's like that, you know, that lovely black girl who walked into the school and, you know, in Arkansas, remember? Right? I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but fucking dude, right? The Little Rock, fucking this girl right here, dude. Right? There it is. Right? Dude, I always think of this girl. Okay? Her. You know what I'm saying? Dude. You know what I mean? And this was, dude, why? Her name should be right up front. Why do I even have to fucking look all the way through here, man? Dude, see, this pisses me off, boss. that like I'm reading an article about this and like her name should be right up front. 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗁𝗙𝗁𝗙𝗁𝗙𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁𝗁 Dude, why? Her name should be in the first fucking line of this thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that bothers me. But, dude, I literally, guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, I fucking, there's not a week that goes by, okay? There's not a week that goes by that I don't think about this. You know what I'm saying? That I don't think about this, guys. I go back and look at these photos and search this stuff up often, okay? Just to sort of like remind ourselves like what we're up against. You know what I mean? Because you think about how like, you know, we look at these faces and we think about, ooh, the hate and the animosity and the aggression and shit, or the, you know, the people laughing at it or whatever. They're all following right next to her, getting up, getting a look. But like, dude, we're still here, guys. You know what I mean? And yeah, no, there is fucking Jerry Jones was on the front steps of this building, but we're still here, guys. You know, the shit is fucking wild. You know what I mean? And I mean, to think about like the fucking, the power of this girl, dude. She was like, how old was she at the time? Was she 17? Right? 57. So she was 15, bro. You know what I'm saying? 15 years old. Right? Nothing's changed but the time and date. No, a lot has changed, Mr. Anderson. A lot has changed. It's not exactly that. There are some things that haven't changed, right? But a lot has actually changed. There are a lot less of these people and a lot more people that aren't like this. That would be like if she was taking this walk now, she would be surrounded by a group of people of every different color wearing Palestinian flags and you know what I'm saying? There would be like many more people with her. She wouldn't have to take that walk alone. But some things though, I think you're right. There are some aspects of this that have not fucking changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like these looks, like, man, it's just, they're still there, dude. Like when I look at this, guys, like, dude, I swear to you, I see like these faces in tweets. You know what I mean? You know, like, isn't that crazy? Like I get on Twitter and I see this, or like the anti-LGBTQ stuff. You just see it, right? Just getting like oozing out of people, you know what I'm saying? It's like crazy, dude. That's some powerful shit, dude. You know, that is some crazy, crazy shit. The transphobes, yeah, man, it is brutal. Doomer review. Most folks, dude, let's go. Hey, man, dude, it's easy to end up being doomer though, Mr. Anderson. Like we're living right now. I swear to you guys, if you don't experience some regular doomerism, you ain't doing it right, dude. I'm serious. I wake up sometimes and I'm just like, fuck, bro. Dude, I want to take a 10-day shower, dude. But yeah, man, that shit is crazy, dude. But yeah, so I don't know, dude. We're fucking, I still don't think it's going to be easy. I'm curious though. What is this about this 2010 dinner party? Okay. What is this? It says a 2010 dinner party hosted by Epstein at his New York townhouse, attended by Katie Couric, Andrew, George Stephanopoulos, Chelsea Handler, Charlie Rose, and Woody Allen. Dude, Woody Allen is a fucking creep, bro. And that bothers me too, because I liked his movies, but what a fucking creep. Attendees like Couric and Handler described the event as creepy due to young women serving as staff and expressed regrets. So what is this, man? Katie Couric had dinner at Epstein's house after he was convicted. And see, this is wild, man. You know what I'm saying? Like what is this shit? All right, let's see this clip here.
Katie, Emily S. wants to know the strangest part of going to a dinner party at Jeffrey Epstein's house with Chelsea Handler.
Yeah. I know. That's a long story that's in my book. Yeah, I was invited to go to this dinner at Jeffrey Epstein's house, and George Stephanopoulos was going to be there, and it was right before Kate and William got married, and I thought, oh, I better go because it was in honor of Prince Andrew, and I thought, I better schmooze Prince Andrew. If George is, I need to get in there, and I didn't know anything about Jeffrey Epstein at the time, and it was super weird. What can I say? And the person I was with said, did you notice how young the girls were who were taking the coats? And I said, I really didn't, but of course, later, we found out everything about him. But yeah, I was invited to it, and I should have done a little more research. But a lot of the stuff about him hadn't come out yet.
See, it's what's crazy about this. You ready? Is like it's hard. So it's hard to process this. You know what I'm saying? Because you ready? So I don't want to make excuses for Katie Couric, but we live in a society, okay, where, you know, when was that? That was in 2010, okay? And like, you don't know. We don't know how much she knew because there were certainly some people who knew. But I will say this, guys, you ready? You ready to hear something? In 2010, I didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was. I didn't know. I didn't know he had an arrest for sexual behavior. In 2010, I had no idea. I never heard of this fucking guy until Donald Trump came on the scene. Okay? There were Vanity Fair articles about him in 2003 as like some billionaire jet setter, but he was just tied into this wealthy world where, like, I mean, the internet was not massive back then. You know what I'm saying? Katie was a reporter. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'd be intrigued to see who knew and who didn't, because let's be honest, guys. You ready? So, and again, I don't want to defend her because I don't know, but let me just say this. Let me say a couple of things. That one, it was 2015 was when Virginia Giuffre sued Ghislaine Maxwell in civil court. And that was when the depositions started happening. So mostly Jeffrey got arrested in 2008 and then it disappeared really fast. I think most people that weren't in the know didn't even know he got arrested for sex trafficking. I will say this, guys. It would be interesting to know what the gossip was, because I don't know if you guys have hung out in really wealthy circles, but there's a thing that happens in there. And those of you who have been into like the real wealthy stratosphere, you'll know that kind of two things occur at once, where on the one hand, everybody talks about some things and then everybody doesn't talk about other things, where there's a type of thing that goes on in society where a lot of times the crusty side of the upper crust, you just don't talk about it because those upper crusters control your ability to advance the ladder. So it's like Harvey Weinstein, right? You know, Courtney Love mentioned it in 2005 and it resonated from everybody who heard about it, but nobody was going to really say anything about it because Harvey Weinstein controlled most of Hollywood's ability to get a movie made. And so you may have heard, and like, so you go to the party and all the coat check girls are 14, but you just pretend like you don't even see it. because if you see it, your career's going to end. And like, so it's weird because on the one hand, I like hold them responsible, but on the other hand, I understand what those blinders look like, right? Where, you know, when, I mean, dude, I mean, even in the record industry, you know, you heard scuttlebutt about so-and-so and so-and-so, and that guy like hit his girlfriend. But in the 90s, it didn't really matter. You went to the party with the dude who you had heard hit his girlfriend, and you just pretended like you didn't hear it because you needed that guy to like advance your band. I mean, it was fucked up, bro. You know, yeah, do I trust her? No, I don't trust her. But I mean, guys, this is the least of it. You know what I'm saying? Because like, the thing is I feel like everybody in news and politics and high society is attached to this Epstein thing, guys, right? Where she's like, did she notice? Oh, I didn't notice that all the coat check girls were 14, right? But like, you know, they noticed and then they immediately didn't notice because they needed to be there to meet Prince Andrew because that's how you advance your career. And I mean, guys, I'm going to tell you this in all honesty right now, even with me as like a political commentator, okay? You guys have seen how I talk shit about Cenk Uygur. You've seen how I talk shit about Benny Johnson. So like none of that mainstream media cult is going to touch me unless I become so big that they have to touch me, right? Because when you're a voice, if you're a voice that speaks out against this shit, you are then pushed out the door, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? And so I think she did notice, but she knew if she was going to have the Katie Couric career, you just don't notice. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's fucked up, dude. That's the way this kind of shit works. And you know, I don't know, dude. It's like, I don't know. It's shitty, bro. It's shitty. It's shitty. Now the question becomes this. You ready? Don't say they're going to touch you. You know what I meant. Come on. Grow up. But dude, the thing is you ready though? I mean, dude, Matt Lauer. You remember Matt Lauer, guys? Right? Remember Matt Lauer? Okay. I don't know if you guys watched the show, The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston, right? It was a pretty decent show. It was a little soap opera-y, but Reese Witherspoon and fucking Jennifer Aniston. That's about Matt Lauer. Okay. Matt Lauer was the Today co-anchor. Okay. And like, you ready? Watch this. Ready? There you go. Okay. Look at who was his first co-anchor. Katie Couric made her career knowing that like these guys were sexually abusing women the same way that all the Hollywood actresses knew Harvey Weinstein was doing it. It was literally just part of their thing. Right? Every woman who made it as an actress, every woman and man who made it as a news anchor knew what Matt Lauer was doing in some way, shape, or form. Every politician knew what fucking, you know, what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. All the Hollywood people knew what Harvey Weinstein was doing. And in order for you to have a career, you had to keep your mouth shut. That was it. Okay. Right. Even I've told you the stories. Jerry's Deli. I worked at this very hip deli where one of the owners owned this private club, the kind of club where like fucking, you know, what's her name? Lindsay Lohan would snort cocaine off the table. It was that kind of club. Okay, it was called Guy's in fucking Beverly Hills. I worked at Guy's restaurant, which was called Jerry's Deli. And like the managers all sexually harassed the waitresses, okay, right out in front of people. He would go out and like lick their necks and shit. And like even I did not blow the whistle on that, guys, until I left Jerry's and was going on tour to move to Portland. I didn't blow the whistle on it. I tended to the waitresses that were sexually abused. I built up power alliances. So when the time came and I fucking fought with the manager who did it and had left the bar, I was able to take him down, but I didn't do it while the act was happening. You know what I'm saying? Because like in the 90s, I don't know, for whatever reason, it was so ingrained in part of the culture that we sort of fucking, you know? So, I mean, isn't that wild though? Right? When she's like, oh, yeah, did I notice? No, she didn't notice because she had already been Matt Lauer's fucking partner, bro. She had a career by not noticing. Okay? Yeah, just like Wolf, right? I mean, we look at Wolf as the whistleblower, but he didn't fucking say anything. Nobody does, guys. You know, they just don't. And so that's why this Epstein shit is fucking, you know what I'm saying? That's why this Epstein shit is so central, okay? Because we're starting to unravel this. You know, we're starting to unravel this. But yeah, isn't that funny though? As soon as we watched this and I thought of her, that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking, of course, Matt Lauer's fucking first co-anchor. Of course, she didn't notice. Dude, I mean, you know, I don't want to excuse this behavior. I don't. But what I do want to point out, guys, is how our capitalist system has made it so if you want to go up the system, you have to put the blinders on. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like that has been entry. You know, that's how you get entry to those halls of power. Right? You have to put the blinders on. Now we are starting to break this shit, right? Matt Lauer, Charlie Rose, Harvey Weinstein, Bill O'Reilly, right? P. Diddy, Donald Trump, Epstein. We're at the beginning of this battle. Okay. We're at the beginning. I mean, dude, I know, Melody, it sucks, doesn't it? It sucks. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta fucking, we're starting this fight, guys. Okay, we're starting this fight. We are. I'm ready for it, man. That's why for Me Too was like, I felt like that moment was amazing. You know, dude, do you feel like Trump is abusing Rubio? Rubio always looks like a hostage. Yeah. So the thing about Sin, here's what I will say about Rubio. Dude, Bill Cosby, dude, what a fucking lech, man. What I will say about Rubio is this, is he's not a hostage. The thing about Rubio that bothers me, guys, you ready? Rubio fucking knows better, okay? I feel like Rubio is the biggest fucking shit stain of all of them because that motherfucker actually knows better, okay? Right? RFK Jr., is a grapist pig, just like Trump. He's a fucking degenerate. So is Hegseth. So is Noam. Most of those guys are crooks and shitters and degenerate fucking pigs. But Rubio was a guy who, like, was actually a fucking stand-up guy to some degree. You know what I'm saying? He literally fucking sold his fucking soul for that shit. And to me, that is like, yeah, maybe he will be a whistleblower, but, you know, he was a scumbag. I'll give you that. But he knows better. He's not uneducated, and he's not a complete grapey shitbag. You know what I'm saying? And that really bothers me because he should not be on that fucking train, bro. Skin whistle? Dude, what? Dude, Collins? Susan Collins? Dude, fuck Susan Collins, bro. Dude, these guys. Yeah, man. Of course, Katie Couric. Dude, this is crazy. Dude, Dude, let's go. Oh, shit. It's hard, though, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what's crazy about this, okay? It's crazy because it's hard to lens people in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody could go back and challenge me for all the times I didn't speak up at Jerry's Deli. And then when the manager got me fired right before I was leaving, and then I went into corporate office and sold him out and got my job back for that last month and did battle with him, and then he got fired and they unearthed the thing, but I didn't do it. I didn't say anything until he attacked me, okay? I let him fucking do the thing because that was just the way the system was. And yes, I did work that system when I worked at Jerry's and got in with the right owners and had all the political clout. So when he did come for me, I was able to topple him. But like, dude, I didn't blow the whistle until after he fucking, you know what I'm saying? Until after he fucking, you know what I mean? Until after he came for me. And that's kind of the way everybody did it in the 90s, you know? You know what I'm saying? It's like fucked up. So I guess to a degree I do understand how it goes, right? Because there was in particular, right? Those of you who knew me from gaming or in rock and roll, I had the spiky hair, right? The one telltale sign of me was the spiky hair I had that was kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, even when I'm standing still, I looked like I was moving fast. Okay, that hairstyle of mine was something I developed in the 90s with a waitress at Jerry's Deli who was a hairstylist. Her name was Kim. And she loved these guys who looked like Abe Lincoln, right? I used to call all her boyfriends Abes. We would go out and look for Abes for Kim. Okay, she gave me this hairstyle that fucking, you know, like defined my entire rock and roll experience and made me very popular with the ladies. It was Kim, who was a good friend of mine who cooked it up. And in turn, I did my best to protect her while she went through some of the craziest sexual harassment at that job because I was a head server. So I could determine like where she was. I could put her out in a really visible fucking location so there would be less harassment. I mean, I did what I could. And I mean, ultimately I did, like, I ingratiated myself into the power structure of that job. And eventually I deposed the manager who terrorized all of them. I fucking knocked him off after he came after me. And when I was leaving that job, which then later, this guy had a very unique last name. I looked him up and like 20 years later, he was busted in Iowa for fucking domestic abuse of a woman. And like still, he was sex criming like 20 years later, man. But, you know, I didn't stop it like outright while she was going through it. You know, nobody did. I mean, you know, there were some of us who did the political game of like, you know what I mean? Like if I had just not played the game of like the power game of like connecting myself to all the powers that be in that restaurant corporate environment, I wouldn't have been able to knock off that manager, right? He would have probably still like done it for years afterwards. So I guess I did something good, but that's how you had to do it, which is one of the things that is interesting. Like when we get into talks about politics and Congress and all that, like, I don't know if you guys realize how these power structures are, right? Like the only reason I was able to knock Sam out of that job when he finally did come for me was because of the politics I played at, like, you know, getting myself into that power structure. And there are a lot of things I did at Jerry's. Like we got to have colored hair if we wore a hat, and guys got to wear nail polish. And like, I changed a lot of the corporate rules there by playing the political power structure of the bigwigs and Guy the Starkmans that own that restaurant. There was like a crazy political power structure there because Guy Starkman had that private club and was so connected to like Hollywood stars and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's interesting because, you know, people will, like, some of the DSA people gave AOC shit, but AOC is playing that political structure so she can get way up there and actually enact real change, you know? And I experienced that on a small level in that Jerry's Deli environment. And many people who've been in corporate America can probably tell you stories about this, that like there are structures of power that exist and you can't topple them without having your hands on some levers, you know what I mean? Like, which is why when you hear somebody like Cenk Uygur says, oh, if I got to Congress, I'm going to just bring this whole thing down. And it's like, no, he wouldn't. He would go in and nobody would do shit and he would get booted and he would never win an election again, you know? Like, if you're going to move up in that shit, you got to know how to recognize, like, who has the power and how to, like, get your hands on some of the levers, right? You have to become the guy of somebody who's got their hands on the levers, you know? It's just the way the system works. And the reason why I bring this up is because I honestly don't know if there was anyone in the system who could have brought it down. Like now what's happening is because of DEI and 20 years of like women moving up the power structure, there's right, like Harvey Weinstein couldn't get brought down in 2005 because nobody that had the levers on the power that could topple him, like the women didn't have access to those people, you know? And like now I feel like we're detonating that fucking structure. Right? There's a lot of really powerful people. It's time, you know? And I think it's time with this Epstein shit. Like, man, we're going through some shit. But dude, I wonder what happened to Kim. I got to find Kim, dude. I got to know, dude. Dude, cuz Kim, she changed my life, man. She did. She gave me a hairstyle, bro. That fucking, you know, she gave me a hairstyle and I got rid of the manager of death, boss. I did. Sam, oh, I fucked him up. I had all the receipts. He didn't think I had the receipts. But I did. I had the receipts. And I fucked his ass up. You know what I'm saying? Mod. Let's go. Mod who? What's mod? Right? Dude, let's go. Dude, that was a long time ago. I mean, I want to do that again, boss. You know, that's kind of why I want to get into Congress. You know, I wonder if I could go in there and do some of that. Dude, the manager of death. No, this guy was fucking smarmy. You have no idea how smarmy this guy was. It's a deep stream. Yeah, I mean, I think today is a deep stream though, guys. Because I don't know about you, but I know for me, because of my personal connection. Oh, mod, manager of death. Thank you. Now I got it. Yeah, I think for me, it's because I am simultaneously going through this, right? Like my experience with Kim and Sam and Jerry's Deli and Guy's Club and you know, my experience in the record industry, my experience with like Hollywood executive producers and shit when I was trying to have that career. All the actresses I know that have done that and all of this Epstein shit is like deeply tied to this fucking battle with that sexual abuse system that I've been fighting my whole life, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the shit that those Epstein women are going through. Like, I feel so deeply connected to them, you know, let's get to that video and let me get to those women. Sorry. Like when I look at this video, guys, okay, when I look at this video and see these women and the reason why you may have noticed, like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but a lot of my videos have been around like Epstein and the dismantling of this rape culture. Like I was doing it with Charlie Kirk when he was still alive in TPUSA. Because guys, this is how I fucking survived my childhood, man. You know what I'm saying? Like this is me. I could be in that, right? You know what I mean? The only reason I am here before you is because I'm one of those guys holding a fucking picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. This is real personal for me. You know, this shit, this Epstein shit. You know, it's real fucking personal for me, guys. This stuff. And the same with the religious abuse going on with TPUSA and these guys and that systemic racism. Like, this shit is real fucking personal. The systemic racism too, man, is a big one because I've never experienced it. Obviously, I'm a white guy, but like, so when I moved from the small town of Elkhorn, Wisconsin, in 3rd grade, we moved to California. And when I first moved to LA, I did not have a great go of it. I've told you about the tunnel and the bullies who fucking pushed me around and shit. But we moved away from Mission Hills and we moved to North Hollywood. And I went to a school that some of my cousins went to, 𝗙𝗪𝗏 Street School. And let me just tell you, like, I wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for the black kids. There was like a group of black kids who fucking protected me in 3rd grade and like took care of me at 𝗙𝗪𝗏 Street School that, like, I don't know why they did it. I didn't fucking do anything for them. I was just a scared fucking kid from Wisconsin, but like, they like fucking saved my life, man. You know what I mean? For no fucking reason. You know what I mean? And like, and then to grow up later and to like think that like I profited off this system that probably held them and their families down the whole fucking time is like a really fucking confusing place to be. So like, when you look at me with like the systemic racism and the child abuse, it's like, these are my battles, you know what I'm saying? These are my battles, you know, that like, I feel like I've always been doing, where, you know, surviving sexual abuse and then somehow having grace extended to me by a bunch of, you know, black kids that gained nothing from protecting me, or maybe they did. Maybe they saved me so I could be an ally now. You know what I mean? But like, I've never forgotten about that. Like, without them, like, dude, I don't know if I would have survived that 3rd grade. I don't know what kind of mental shape I would have been in. And then we moved back to Wisconsin. But by the time we came back to California in 6th grade, I was like different. Like, they showed me something because I grew up in this racist town. I came to California and I was in this really tough environment. These black kids like saved me. And then I went back to the racist town and I was like, holy shit. I like saw the racism because of what they did for me. And like, then when I came back to California in 6th grade, I was like a different guy. Like, I had more fight in me because of them. Like, I don't know, dude, this shit that we go through as kids, like it has an effect on us, you know? Used to camp there in Elkhorn. Dude, Elkhorn was a fucking shithole, bro. Oh my God, dude, that town, I mean, an idyllic small town, but just rampant sexual abusers, dude. And now there's like in Elkhorn, that town where I was abused in Wisconsin, there's like a hotel there that all the sex offenders, when they get out and they put them back into the population, that hotel is in Elkhorn, dude. The town I lived in is like the central hub of like sex offenders in Wisconsin. Dude, it's so gross. I went back there in 2021. I got partially canceled for a G Fuel ad I did back there, but oh man, it's gross, dude. This shit is in my blood, boss. You know what I mean? Now those Q nonsense triggered people. Now they see Dump is covering for pedos. This will break MAGA. Yeah, dude, MAGA's breaking, bro. It is. It's hard to listen to or describe Wisconsin back then because I was an am hero. You're there? Dude, is it still like that, Orphan Maker? I mean, I suspect you recognize some threads of the shit I talk about, right? Because I had a saying when I was younger, when I first moved away, when I became an adult, where the way I used to talk about Wisconsin was this. This was my saying, guys. When I went into the rock and roll world and people would ask me about Wisconsin, I would say this. I had a stock saying that I used to say, there's only two things in Wisconsin: drunks and child molesters. And like the drunks wish they weren't child molesters and the child molesters wish they weren't drunks. And that was it. That was literally like, that's how I summed up my entire experience of living in multiple small towns. That's Wisconsin. Dude, that's the entire fucking state, bro. Right? Oh, shit, dude. No way, dude. Lady MAGA. Dude, Lady MAGA is now, like, no longer drag queening and is now attacking Trump. That's funny. Dude, I'm going to need a link to Lady MAGA. We got to go do that, dude. Nothing's changed but the faces. Dude, it's true, dude. Dude, that's why this shit is epic. All right? Dude, this shit is epic. Dude, I went long, too. All right. So, dude, we got a dance party coming up. We're going to get to the dance party. I know, guys, I know it was a big fucking emotional stream, but sometimes they're going to be like this, guys, because, like, I'm just going through it, okay? You know what I'm saying? I am just going through it. And, dude, Chris Murphy, where's that quote? Let's find Chris Murphy. We got to watch this 14-year-old talk about Megyn Kelly, too, okay? But I'm going through it, guys. We're going to have days like this. Okay, we are. I mean, I want to link to that quote about incriminating. Because again, there was a person the other day, I played a clip of a woman who said that she's like, we've seen the photos. Dude, Trump is fully incriminated. And again, though, they're trying to say that he's going to be arrested for corruption, right? Right? They're like, do we have a link to that? Is it in Discord? That quote? I want to see it. Oh, here we go. Oh, there it is. I found it. All right, you ready? Let's watch this. Got to have streams like this? No, we're going to have streams like this, guys. I mean, I'm not going to be able to go through this Epstein thing without walking through my own personal experience. And I mean, this is tied to why the 40% of women want to leave the country. It is. The reason why 40% of young women want to leave the country is because of this shit, okay? Because girls know, guys. They know. I've always said, if you want to see what sexual abuse looks like in America, I'm going to give you a fucking sampling that you can test this in your own hometown, anywhere you live. You ready? The next time you go out to dinner, okay, the next time you go out to the Olive Garden or the Red Robin or whatever, walk into that place, and when you walk in, clock it and find a teenage girl that is buxom, okay? Just notice her in the room. And then don't stare at her, don't make her uncomfortable, but just find the one teenage girl in there that is like young and bubbly and kind of buxom. And then wait until she gets up and go to the bathroom and watch all the tables of men in that restaurant, like fathers, not fucking 20-year-old dudes, but 40-year-old dudes. Watch what happens to them every time she gets up and goes to the salad bar or to the bathroom or wherever. Like, you can see this shit. They grow up with this shit when they're like 13 and they go out to a fucking, the Red Robin, and they can't walk to the bathroom without a bunch of fucking 50-year-old dudes getting like half chubbed. And it's they grow up with this kind of like, whoa, what the fuck is that? And then they have to figure out, how do I navigate it? Do I take advantage of it a little bit and try to keep myself safe with that? Or am I going to get victimized by it? I mean, and every girl in America has to fucking put up with this shit. And then when you get into a level of like politics, I think of the girl with Andrew Cuomo, right? You ready? You ready? Here we go. We're going to look at this. Like, why on earth did this poor girl at a public event out in open, why did she have to put up with Andrew Cuomo holding on to her like that, like she's a fucking piece of meat? And why is everybody who's seeing this didn't say anything? Because she can't fucking say anything. I mean, she did, right? Eventually, and it spiraled into a thing, and this motherfucker still was running as a goddamn independent with Trump, the rapist, backing him. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, this shit is epidemic here, boss, right? It's fucking gross, man. It is gross, dude. It is like, dude, don't even get me started. All right, let's watch this clip.
Moment where these files and the fullest truth that we have available to us is going to be made public. And it is clearly the biggest scandal in presidential history.
Absolutely.
And he wouldn't be acting this way if he wasn't so deeply worried about what sits in those files. What we've already seen is immensely incriminating. Clearly, Donald Trump was at the center of a child sex ring. That is heartbreaking, that the president of the United States was involved in that kind of gross, craven immorality. And
see, that's the thing, guys, that is like what's inescapable about this is at the center, okay? Like the whole world looks at like Jeffrey Epstein is the center of the sex trafficking ring, and all these other guys were caught up in it. And, you know, sure, Bill Clinton was caught up in it and Bill Gates and all these other people, but Trump was at the center. Like the center of this thing was like Trump and Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel and Prince Andrew. And Epstein and fucking Jean-Luc Brunel are dead. Like, hello. And the only two left at the center are, other than Ghislaine, are Trump and Prince Andrew. You see what I'm saying? They're like literally the nucleus of this shit. And along with, you know, Adriana Ross and Leslie Groff and Nadia Marcinkova and Sarah Kellen, those are the people, his lieutenants, who got immunity in the deal with Acosta. But Trump, it is like Ghislaine, Trump, Epstein, Brunel, Andrew. Boom. There you go. Okay? Those are the five, right? In the fucking center. Okay? That were like the center. That, you know, everything that happened with those five, all those five, like, knew exactly. They were, like, in deep, okay? And everybody's dead except, you know, right? Andrew, Trump, and Ghislaine, right? That's why Ghislaine's getting the special treatment, and Andrew and Trump are the last two to fucking fall. Melania, no, she's not innocent. But dude, Melania, though, she was like, I think Melania did what Katie Couric did. She's just, I'm out. You know what I mean? Yeah, but so the thing about this, though, Fargo, is Bill Clinton was a participant, but he was not the center, okay? Because he wasn't a trafficker, okay? Bill Clinton wasn't a trafficker. He was a president. He was a guy with enormous clout. I'm sure he was engaging in this shit and criminal, but Donald Trump's modeling agency was like the epicenter of this thing. Like Donald Trump taught Brunel and, you know, and fucking Epstein how to traffic women, okay? Like it was, I feel like Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell were the center, and then Epstein and Brunel, I mean, Brunel was kind of the center too. He was like the European guy. So it was really like Trump, Maxwell, and Brunel, and then Epstein sort of pushed his way in there and made himself be like the center. And Andrew was kind of like the Trump version of, right? He was, you know, the other side of Ghislaine. Like Ghislaine is like, she's sort of the linchpin. Everybody that was connected came through Ghislaine, right? Through her dad, essentially, but through Ghislaine. So he is like Clinton's an abuser, And Clinton is a guy who I'm sure partook in many of the parties and the sex and all that criminality. But Trump is like one of the fucking, like, he's one of the bricks in the fucking building. You know, Clinton was just another John that went through that building. Okay. But Trump is a wall of the building. Okay. Like Trump was part of the structure that gave that entire system life. Yeah, it's like being an owner versus being a player, right? Clinton is a running back, you know, fucking whatever. These other guys are quarterbacks, and Peter Thiel was a fucking tight end, right? But Donald Trump was one of the 5 owners. Like, he's like, that's why he's hiding it so much. Like, if he just fucked around, I think he would be safer, right? I think he could deflect fucking around. Oh, she was 17. I didn't know she was underage. Like, he's not worried about an affair or any of that shit. You like that? You like what I did with Thiel? I did that on purpose. I made Thiel the tight end. Of course. But like, Trump is, his real worry is that people are going to know that he's one of the nucleus, right? He's in the nucleus, guys. He is one of the chief architects of this thing.
It stands to reason that he wouldn't be fighting so hard to spin against this story or bullying Republicans in the House to prevent the release of these files if there wasn't something especially and specifically incriminating in that information. Now, I think the scandal in and of itself could bring him down, but we also do have to contextualize it. Because what Donald Trump is all about is protecting the rich and powerful and stealing from normal people, regular middle class and poor folks, in order to enrich the rich and powerful. And this is very much part of that story. Yes, I am sure that there are both Republicans and Democrats named in those files. There are powerful people on both.
Well, I mean, Trump was a Democrat at the time, guys. He was not a Republican when all this shit went down.
Both sides of the aisle.
So, I mean, I'd venture to guess there's probably more Democrats than Republicans involved in this thing. They're just not going to be the recent Democrats, you know?
What Trump is all about is, you know, not really playing a game based on politics, but playing a game based on wealth and influence. If you have wealth and influence, Donald Trump is going to protect you, and that is consistent through everything he has done during the first 9 months of this administration.
So, as I understand...
So the thing about this, guys, I'd like to put in a context of the emails, okay? Because the emails, and we haven't seen all of them. I know we've seen a dump of a lot of, like, Epstein and these reporters. So what you guys have to realize is when Trump became president, everybody who had dirt on Trump started wondering if them having dirt on Trump could mean some type of political leverage, right? So that's when the games began, right? Once Trump was ensconced with that power, everybody who knew the truth about Trump started like, what can I get out of this? Okay? And so there's a lot of shit in those emails, I'm sure, which is these guys kicking around, like kicking the tires on various ideas of how they can manipulate and work this to their advantage. And this, though, guys, this is not exclusive to Trump. This is what happens to every presidential candidate or senator, or once you acquire that kind of power, everybody who has dirt on you starts showing up. This is just how the game occurs, right? They don't show up until you have that power. That's why when somebody becomes a senator, they're like, why is the girl coming out with the rape now? It's like, because that's when it happens. As soon as you become a senator, that's when the girl's like, okay, now we're going to fucking, you know, this is the outlet, right? They're right? That's just how it works. That's when you have enough visibility that, like, now somebody can talk about the rape and it's actually going to get paid attention to. Okay? If somebody said Donald Trump raped them in 1990, no one was going to say shit. No reporter was even going to look at that case because they all knew Donald Trump was raping women anyway. They just knew it. It was known. He was a groper, octopus. He was a douchebag. But the minute he becomes president, now that story has teeth. So it's not like they wait until he becomes president. It's just the way the laws of visibility work. You know, that like once you're visible, then you can get traction. You know, I mean, it's kind of like my political channel, right? I blew up and was sort of famous playing Fortnite. And that's why I did a political channel. And like my political channel has a lot of traction in a year because I was famous playing Fortnite. Even though none of those Fortnite people are here, it's just the nature of sort of the collective subconscious, right? And so yeah, I think there's probably a lot of that going on, you know. Dude, that's dirty though. I mean, dude, it goes back to this, guys. It goes back to I mean, I hate to say it, but it goes back to the fucking, right? It all goes back to the Schuster email or the Schuster tweet, guys. Remember? This tweet right here, boss. This was 10 days ago where this guy said GOP House members know. They know this shit is worse than you could possibly imagine. It's way worse than even Michael Wolff said. Everyone's going to get ahead of this thing. It's coming. I don't know what's going to happen, but the day of reckoning is coming. And I'm here for it. Let's go. Oh, shit. Dude, is he still a TYT guy? I don't even know who he was. I saw that it was like TYT alum, right? Hungry like the wolf. Let's go. All right, let's finish, though, with this fucking amazing person, right? This amazing 14-year-old who sets fucking Megyn Kelly straight. Dude, Trump urges House Republicans. Dude, you see this? Dude, the big, beautiful bill. Dude, look at that. Oh, it's so funny. I'm like, I give it a 6.9. Oh, shit. Dude, that's amazing. Dude, some of these memes are so good. They're so good, bro. This one's good too, dude. You see this? Dude, rape kids, blow bill, Trump. And he's like, did you just take both pills? Dude, oh, that's amazing, bro. That one is unfucking believable, dude. Dude, that is beautiful. So good, dude. Oh, shit. That one is so good. There's some good fucking memes, boss. Oh, Lord have mercy. This one too, dude. Like, I'm never going to let this one go. I've been putting this in people's replies all over the place, dude. This one is just fuck. Oh, shit. Dude, this one's good too. About fucking MAGA not knowing which button to push. All right. But here we go. Where is she? This one. Okay. So this is wild. Okay. Now, I got into some discussions with people. Obviously, Megyn Kelly, right? Megyn Kelly said that shit where, and I didn't like the way Megyn Kelly said it, the way she was like, you know, oh, my friend says, right? And you may have noticed Republicans do this all the time where they say, hey, my friend said this. And that way they can bring up some outrageous thing or some controversial topic, but they're like, well, I didn't say it. This is my friend's opinion on the matter. Okay. And they use this tactic all the fucking time, guys. You may have noticed it. It's a pretty common tactic. If you want to bring up something really outrageous, you say that a friend of yours or somebody at the coffee shop said this thing. How do you feel about this? And it allows you to put this really toxic shit out there. But here was my thing is what purpose, okay, say she's being honest and say that her friend really is, oh, Jeffrey Epstein's not technically a pedophile because he's actually, you know, into hebephilia and I don't know how to pronounce the other one. Ephebophilia, right? Ephebophilia and hebephilia, right? So, but whatever. Megyn Kelly was not having some, hey, let's talk about the etymology of this word and let's, you know, put the correct term, hebephilia and ephebophilia. There's two of them. One is like 16, 17. She's like, she wasn't doing that. She was simply saying, hey, he's not really a pedophile, according to my friend. And he really just liked barely legal people. But barely legal people are 18, 19. Okay? And like I've said before, if your state has an age of consent at 16, and if you're 50 and you're sexing up a 16-year-old, you're still a child rapist. Okay? Doesn't matter what the age of consent is. Age of consent does not play into this at all. The age of consent is simply evangelical weirdos passing shitty laws so they can grape kids. Okay? That's what age of consent laws are. Okay? If you have the only age of consent law is you can have sex at 16 with people within 2 to 3 years of your age. There you go. So now the kids can do their thing and they're not going to get preyed upon. But all age of consent laws were passed by grapey evangelicals who are trying to be able to wed and bed kids, okay? Which is gross. All right, so anyway, there was no reason for Megyn Kelly to talk about that. There was no reason for her to discuss whether Jeffrey Epstein was actually clinically a pedophile or to even like try to minimize the harm of what he did by calling him barely legal, because none of them were legal. None of them. And none of them. Okay? All right. And so this girl comes in, and this girl is 14, guys. So while you watch this video, you got to realize that these are the girls that were, you know, handing out the coats when Katie Couric went to Jeffrey Epstein's dinner party. It was this girl was taking her coat and serving her salmon, right? These were the girls that Trump was going to visit at Epstein's house. These are the girls that had their pictures on his walls. It's gnarly, guys. All right, you ready? Let's watch this.
Hey, Megyn Kelly. I'm Eloise and I'm 14 years old. I wasn't even going to say anything because the topic is an adult one. My mom even made a video about it yesterday because we didn't feel it was an appropriate topic for a child to speak about. But after hearing you go on camera and explain that Epstein wasn't into 8-year-olds, just the barely legal type like 15, I realized you might need an actual reality check from a literal child. So let me help you out. Megyn, people in my grade are turning 15 right now. Some of us still have baby faces. Some of us still have braces. Some of us still call our parents when we're scared at night. Some of us still look like middle schoolers because we basically are. And the fact that a grown woman needs a teenager to explain that is honestly terrifying. Here's the part you seem confused about. Under federal law, anyone under 18 is a child. No asterisk. No, but they hit puberty. No, older kids don't count. Anyone under 18 is a child. You said you were just giving facts, but here's the real fact. What you said wasn't factual. It was minimizing. It was making abuse sound like a technicality. And Megyn, here's the part you really need to hear. If a 14-year-old has to get on the internet and explain to a grown adult with national platform that children are children and there's no age where abuse suddenly becomes less bad, then the problem isn't confusion, it's corruption. Because kids my age aren't supposed to be the ones correcting you. We're not supposed to be the moral compass in a room full of adults who should have known better. But here we are. If my voice makes you uncomfortable, good, it should. Because the minute adults start defending predators by debating the age of a child, you're not protecting the truth. You're protecting the predator. And you shouldn't need a freshman to tell you that.
Dude, laying down the boom, bro. Like, bro, she laid it down. And guys, isn't it crazy though how this shit is it's what we've been talking about all night, right? About how I said go to a Red Robin and watch the older dudes when the young girl gets up and walks to the bathroom. Because the problem is the corruption. It's like we have allowed ourselves to be so corrupted that Harvey Weinstein exists and everybody knows it and we just let it happen. Trump and Epstein and RFK Jr. and Russell Brand and Brett Kavanaugh and Clarence Thomas and Bill Clinton. All these motherfuckers do their shit, and we are so corrupted, we just let it happen. Andrew Tate, R. Kelly, you know what I mean? Bill Cosby. I mean, dude, the list is just so extremely long. Okay? You know? And like, dude, this is on us, man. You know what I'm saying? This is on us. Dude, these guys are fucking creeps, bro. This system is a bullshit system, guys. It is, dude. But I'm telling you, dude, I feel good that this shit is coming apart, bro. And MAGA is going down with it. Okay? MAGA is going down with it. You know, but again, though, dude, Megyn Kelly, like, bro, she was around like Bill O'Reilly. She knows. And that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem is she knows. Maybe that's the problem with Megyn Kelly is because Megyn Kelly got to be Megyn Kelly by being okay with it. That's what you had to do in the 90s, right? You had to be okay with it. And then that's how you got a career was by putting up with it, staying quiet. Okay. And man, our whole fucking society, whether it's systemic racism or anti-LGBTQ abuse or all this SA, it runs on all of us being quiet. And man, I'm sick of us being quiet. I want us to be loud as fuck, bro. You know what I'm saying? And they do. They attack victims, but that's part of that social structure. Our social structure is designed to protect the male abusers. Our entire society is designed to elevate and reward male abusers. Okay? The more abusive you are, the better chance you have in capitalism. I mean, it's a fundamental flaw that the more sociopathic and abusive you are, the better chance you have of becoming a billionaire. Okay? That's what it takes. You have to be a sociopathic abuser, right? And an exploiter in order to get those, to get there, right? Dude, yeah. Dude, it's fucking brutal, bro. It's brutal. But she's tied though, guys, right? Because when you think about it, you remember how I said earlier how I'm kind of like cross-referencing the people that Virginia Giuffre talks about and how one of these guys seems like it could be Rupert Murdoch. And so if it is Rupert Murdoch, Megyn Kelly probably knows about it, right? So like, you know, like all of these people, like that's just it. Everyone, the Katie Courics, the Megyn Kellys, everybody that is high up in journalism and in politics probably has somebody in this who's got skin in this game. You know what I mean? It is like far reaching. I mean, you know, we did it with Katie Couric. Oh shit. I didn't notice they were young. It's like you were Matt Lauer's fucking co-host. You knew what was going on. You had a career because you put the blinders on. Dude, it's hard, man. I mean, I don't know. You know, it's hard. Dude, you know what I'm saying? Right? Dude, what's dead? Right? I don't know what you're talking about when you're saying something's dead. They won't go quiet. Dude, yeah, no, the times they are changing, right? The times they are changing. I mean, it's pretty hard because like money, okay? Money has a lot of power, guys. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like you have people that, you know, come up and they don't have a lot of shit, but then somebody comes along and gives them like $5 million, right? And then a lot of people, you are thinking, wow, if I get this $5 million, like my whole family and my family's family and my kids' will never have to struggle again. And so people get in these tough situations of like, well, I want to do the right thing, but I also can guarantee that my entire family bloodline is safe and taken care of if I just, you know, take the 5 million. And that is what's hard when you get into those elite levels is those people have so much money. They have access to so much money that they can throw 20 million out. And like people will just sell their souls for it, you know, because like 20 million bucks means you're safe from capitalism. Capitalism's not going to kill you. Because like, let's face it, guys, right? That like capitalism is going to kill many of us, right? It's trying to kill us all, boss. Right? It's fucked up. All right. On a happier note, though, we're fighting this shit. Okay? We're going to fight this shit. We're going to bring these guys down, dude. Yeah, I don't really know much about like Dean Withers or those guys. I don't really watch that kind of like debate bro content. I don't like the debate bro stuff. I don't. I find that stuff like, I don't know. I think it's counterproductive. It like, you know, it's hard because I realize the importance of debate sometimes, but a lot of times that debate shit just becomes, you know, like entrenching our positions through personalities. You know what I'm saying? You know, but he was also like one of those scruffy guys, right? Like the former N-word guys, which I also, though, I find that a little suspect. You know me, I've talked about Plattner and shit. I'm like, I don't know, but, you know, I try to have an open mind. I mean, people, it's hard. You know what's hard, guys? Here's what's hard. I'm going to tell you with all the guys, even the guys I like, it's hard to know who to trust because at the end of the day, a lot of people are just looking for clout, okay? They are. They're looking for clout and they're looking for money and they're looking for fame. And then they get fame and then they're fucking around like having sex with a whole bunch of people and hurting people and doing shit. And nobody's immune to this shit because let me just tell you, when you get a little bit of fame, that shit can change you. Okay? That shit, fame is it's pretty fucked up, especially if you're 20, 25, right? That shit is like, dude, fame and a lot of material goods it rewires your brain, dude. Dude, shit'll fuck you up. Dude, I've had friends get famous, bro, and dude, I had to go with it. Even the Fortnite fame, boss. I had to keep an eye on it. You know, you have to keep an eye on that shit. If you have not done a lot of personal healing before, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was lucky. I did 10 years of EMDR and meditation and all kinds of therapy before I got famous. So, and I was, you know, 40, 50, right? I was 50. So I had a distinct advantage. Dude, I tell you what, after my experience of fame at 50, if I had gotten fame at 20, bro, 21, dude, that shit would have been on. Dude, I would have been a disaster. Okay? I would have been a fucking disaster. Dude, I'm lucky I didn't get it. I definitely wouldn't have lived through it. All right, you guys ready for the dance party? It's time. I got to go, dude. I went way long tonight. Holy shit. Bro, we went way long, but I guess tonight was one of those big personal sort of, like, we kind of had to have this stream, didn't we? Right? Didn't we? I think we had to have this one. We've been having a lot of these lately because we're getting close to this Epstein shit. All right? You ready? I thought it was a good stream. I feel like fucking empowered, bro. I feel empowered, boss. We're going to fucking fuck some shit up, bro. Trump. Dude, MAGA, I saw somebody say, dude, MAGA's coming down, okay? MAGA is coming down. MAGA is coming down. MAGA is coming down. They're self-destructing. We're going to go in there and pull that shit apart. Repeat after me. MAGA's coming down. MAGA's coming down. MAGA's coming down. Oh! Fuck MAGA! Dude, stupidity, let's go. Dude, you're welcome, boss. Thank you. Thank you guys for all the support. Let's go. Get limber. We're about to dance. We're about to hit a little deja vu. Oh, shit, bro. I got edit mode on. I will be up all night. I will probably be up for about another 7 hours editing videos. And very, very therapeutic. Good. Good, good. Oh. Oh, shit, bro. All right, you ready? Let's go, dude. Yes. Yes, Afton. I like her. Let's go. Ready? Let's get that fucking deja vu going, shall we? Shall we? All right, let me get it set. Here we go. Here we go. Time to dance. This is how we work it all out, boss. We work it out with the fucking dancing. Dancing. Oh. Oh, no. That ain't the song. Dude, where's the song, bro? Uh-oh. Oh, it's at the bottom. Dude, I thought maybe it got removed or some shit. It was all the way down at the bottom, dude. Oh, shit. Dude, that scared me. I was like, oh my God, what if he took it off Epidemic Sound? Wouldn't that be heartbreaking if the song we dance to every day got taken off Epidemic Sound? Dude, I would be so sad. Oh, shit, bro. All right, you ready? Your brain torturing you? Oh, fuck, dude, insomnia is brutal. Oh, maybe get a creative hobby. Good life, right? So if your brain tortures you with insomnia, you find a good thing. He did respond to me. Yeah, no, I told him that I danced to his song every night, and he was totally cool. All right, here we go. Let's go! Come on!
Just a little nervous, you're on blue.
who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you? Tell me who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you. Dude, it's interesting because this song, You're on Blue, is actually about that thing of like how it's like when you get abused and you survive it and you develop this whatever magnetism and nobody even knows you've been hurt. It's like a part of the cycle, man. It's like it's tough to get out of. Bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue when every bruise looks good on you. My hand, you're gonna deny this. Do the best you can. I haven't got a plan, but I'm gonna survive this. That's just who I am. Thank you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, guys. Almost 74K. Yes, we're growing. We're here. We're gonna fuck this shit up. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. I love you.